Welcome back to another week of Survival Sunday here at FirstBlood IO. I am a little fuzzy seal, as always, joined by Charity. Usually, as always, but we haven't had the past
couple. It's been a while.
It's been a while. 3 weeks. What have you been up to, man?
A lot, actually. Been out in California competing in the NPL qualifiers, and so didn't go as planned, so we're back here in Boston. No complaints on my end, though, because I love being here at the FirstBlood Studios. So happy to be back, 100%.
I just realized something that's kind of silly. Our hair is like swooshing towards each other.
It's magnetized.
Yeah, it's like I got like the bigger beard, but like the hair kind of looks like a little bit less kempt as well. So it's just like I'm like a less fancy version of you. I feel like right now.
We went to the same barber.
Oh yeah, he was tired after he did your hair, and it was just like just do whatever with it, just ruffled around. Oh no. All right, but yeah, so this is your first guys time watching. Then actually, even if this is your first time. We're going to be playing 4 games of competitive PUBG on comp settings. That being said, comp settings recently has changed its definition significantly. Most organizations, actually I think almost every single one besides like one single EU tournament that will be changing it after the current one, I don't even remember which one it is, will be adopting the Korean standard. Now, I was under the impression that it was going to be kind of like normal, just with like SRs and DMRs turned up a little bit. But it's not quite as simple as that. If you want to go ahead and...
So they overhauled the point system entirely. It's no longer 400 points for a win, but rather it's 10. And then 6 points for second place, and it
4, 3,
goes
2,
all the way
1,
down to 8th place. Yeah, and then
none.
Yeah, exactly. And then they upped the kill percentage. And originally it was 4%. A kill would be 4% of a win, and now it's 10%. So a kill is 1 point, whereas a win is 10 points. But I mean, you get 1 squad wipe. That's basically already
that's enough
place.
for a round.
That's a 5th place. Yeah. So basically, teams are going to be playing way more aggro because placements. It's no longer about placement. It's about hunting teams down and getting those kill points. Now, if you find yourself in a compound that keeps having circles end on you and end on you and end on you,
you're just gonna take it.
Yeah, you're gonna take it. You'll pick up as many points as you can. But realistically, like now, you're not shooting for that 1st or 2nd place. You're shooting for 8 to 10 kills. I mean, that's your ideal game.
There was an idea that was floating around a lot when people were beginning to try to overhaul the point system. The NA and the EU team for a very, very long time always kind of stood between like 3 to 5% for the kill percentage. And there was a very, very long discussion that a couple of casters, a couple of production guys, a couple of analysts were just like, all right, so we don't really want to like recreate the game. For a long time, we were just trying to not overhaul it too much, but this is very, very different. Like this,
what
PUBG Core is doing is they're doing something that we did not have the bravery to do, and literally overhauling what it essentially means to play PUBG. There are a couple of different schools of thought that that people have about this. Some people hate it. Some people are just like, okay, we'll just play the same way, and then it's gonna be fine. Some people are playing differently. The people that are playing the same way, I feel like that's gonna be a pretty effective strategy, to be honest. Because if you look at like the average kills for a 1st place, it's 12 kills. It's 11.75 kills in the old comp standard. If that stays the same, all of a sudden that's 22 points for a win. That's a good chunk right there. And especially if you're, I'm not sure what the average points are going to be looking like at the end of the day here, but it could be, I don't know, 20 points seems like a pretty like decent average. Like you get 5 per game without like any explosive games. I don't really have any like because that's how many kills. Some teams will often get like 4 or 5 per game, or like maybe a couple of placement points. My point is that this is going to be very, very, very different, and I think that's a good thing.
I'd say so. I mean, for people that aren't diehard fans of PUBG and don't play the game themselves, but still like to watch it, the loot phase is probably the most boring part of that.
Sure.
If you're watching it and you play the game actively, then it's kind of different because I like to see where people loot and what buildings they choose to go to and where they go next and what cars they go for. But that's the really like in-depth part of the game. And with the new loot settings, you're looting maybe like 3 minutes and then you're out of there, as opposed to like probably a 10-minute loot phase.
Well, let's go ahead and talk about that for a sec, because you can't talk about loot without the circle, right? So when it comes to the circle, I believe, I haven't really looked at this too much, but I believe that the area in the middle, or the beginning of the game has been turned out a little bit. That's shorter now?
So, yeah, the circle's faster for the first few phases, and then it kind of, the later phases, it goes back to like what we're used to, where it's slower and you can still out crawl it, and or at least out crouch walk it. But the beginning circles, like phase 1 through 3, I think it is, they're sped up, and so you got to be quicker about it. You got to make your decisions quicker and get in the move quicker. But with the turned up loot, that's not as challenging anymore.
We'll be talking more about this on Tuesday, hopefully with a lot of graphs and things that actually show like the statistical differences between the two circles. So make sure that you tune in then when we end up doing that. It's going to be a very, very interesting conversation. But that being said, that is a discussion for another time. Rather than talking about it, we are going to be actually watching it today here. And I think that this might be one of the first North American events to actually run this style. So it's going to be really, really cool. I ended up trying to sub to try and get a feel for this. Wasn't really able to find a team for the one day I offered, and the other days I just ended up getting too busy. So this is going to be my first time experiencing this from a spectator, caster, from any viewpoint really at all, actually. The Korean events that ended up running this were not actually, like, I didn't watch too many of them. I just saw a couple of clips and I was like, that looks insane. And then I just kind of moved on. So I guess we'll be experiencing that today. The thing is, though, is that I was still getting questions from people like 10 minutes ago saying, what are these settings? What's going on here? So there's a lot of people that just aren't, I don't think that they're going to be playing that differently today. I think there's going to be a couple of teams. We do have, for example, a team called Vicious Gaming. It's a Dash project, a couple of guys from the old Render team. And I've personally been a fan of Render in general, Dash's play in particular for a very, very long time. I'm glad to be seeing him back in the comp PUBG scene, and they will be playing with us as the only qualifying NPL team to play today. We have a couple other players that try to compete in there. You know, we got the Team Almosts and a couple other teams that are kind of like just not. I can't think of them right now. But the point is around all this is that there's probably going to be a lot of teams that aren't going to know how to react to these new settings. And then we have Vicious Gaming, which is one of the only ones that's probably practiced this to any significant degree, that are probably going to have a plan in mind. The thing is that having this plan in mind, if everyone else just is playing like everyone's the same, might not work.
And then on top of that, I mean, you can always go into it with a plan in mind, but it's PUBG after all, and plans go quickly out the window whenever you don't get that circle favor, or you don't get the loot you want, or you don't get the car spawn. I mean, there's just so many variables.
I mean that's not going to be coming up as much, is it? Because with loot being up right now, you know, you mentioned 1.8 base multiplier and then 3x to DMRs and SRs. I'm not very good at math, but that's almost like 6x SRs compared to a normal game.
I can't remember the last time I didn't find a DMR. Like I'm not even joking, and I'd run over like 3 or 4 DMRs, and you get your pick of what you want. It's nice.
We have Tanaka playing today. He can do his dream of mini VSS literally every single game he plays.
There we go.
How common are VSSs? Are they everywhere?
Now the VSSs aren't as common. At least from my experience, I like picking them up. So usually when I do see them, I snag them. But I mean, with the amount of SKSs, SLRs, minis.
SLRs everywhere. Oh, this is gonna be really scary.
It's gonna be interesting.
This is gonna be really scary.
And we got this plane path that favoring pretty much the west side, so you're gonna see some condensed fighting right off the start, I'd assume. I mean, there's no. It's kind of cutting out that east side, especially with the faster circle settings. They're not going to have times to get over to Stolber, Kameshki, anywhere on that east coast.
I hope people realize this. You're going to need a car if you're going over there, and even if you do have one, you're not going to have too much time. Like you've been saying, garbage will be the way to go. But looking over here already, we do have Team 2 Winnie Wins Gaming that look to be grabbing that Zarki area. That's going to be. It looks like they were able to get 4 players in this game, so they're not one of the only team that wasn't able to get 4 in. They'll be running with Helicline Gaming's Zodiac, as well as it appears that the rest of this team is just low-key gaming, so we'll be looking to see how they do this game. That being said, the rest of the circle, the rest of the drops that we're seeing, most people dropping on the flight plan. Georgia Pool very, very unoccupied. Only 2 teams in the entirety of Georgia, 1 on each side, so it's going to be easy, free, and tons of loot for them. Everywhere else, though, a lot of people dropping centrally, that Pachinki/farm area, which, like you said, there's a lot of ghetto looting can be quite effective, but there's going to be a lot of people fighting over very little today in that area.
Yeah, I mean, off the start, it looks like everyone's pretty much claimed their territory to themselves. We got Team 16 and then Rocket right down there maybe going at it. Doesn't look like it. It looks like he's going to be able to get the yellows, and then the other one's probably going to go for a vehicle and loot a little bit west. But yeah, everyone's going to be able to claim their territory safely and loot up. So it's going to lead to some really interesting mid-game fight with everyone being kitted.
Look at the far south side. One team was able to claim military, other one was not. Oh no, but we actually, we missed our first roadkill of the game. Actually, look at that.
Oh,
it was 2 players. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Walk TV and Gangrene able to get the Devil team onto Ernzexer. And that's pretty impressive. Actually, it's rather important because that was a player from PLAYERUNKNOWN'S Esports Latin America, and they won the only FirstBlood event they've played so far.
Ooh.
Yeah, so
100% win rate.
Yeah, right now. So losing with their players early on is going to be very, very important. Looking over here, though, it will be WinZ, as well as the boys on Kanye 2020 continuing eastward on their vehicles.
Dirty Zin might have another one.
Oh, I see that.
No, he looks like he's getting back in his vehicle. He does have the M16. He's driving away. Is he going to be able to connect any of these shots? That's extremely close. Oh, that's a free kill.
No.
That's a free kill.
Oh, no.
That's 2 members going down for... Oh, no. Kanye, they got the first kill.
Yeah,
okay, so that's just 1 more member going down from their team.
1 kill point, 1 death point is what's going to be going on today as the farm area looks to be slowly claimed by Team Wins. That's going to be the team in the slight purplish-bluish team here.
Story of Corey running up on foot. Does he have a gun? He has no gun. But Gangrene doesn't either, so they're going to basically be fighting for RNG luck and hopefully a gun here off the start. Getting a little bit of lag on our end, not able to see exactly what's happening.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Well, one of them is going to be dead any second now. I'm calling it.
Yeah,
the first
probably.
one to find a gun, the other is in trouble.
I'm surprised we've seen this sort of strategy being used by Wins as well, because every time we watch these Survival Sunday games, we almost always see like 3 or 4 teams in the farm area, and none of them come out of it any happier about the entire thing. Meanwhile, we're looking at situations like Pachinki, Georgopol. It's like all these cities only have like 2 teams in them. Like, I think we had,
Let's fight over farm, but leave these big cities open.
It's like, what do you really want to fight for? Especially when we're looking about cities. Like, I personally, in public games, especially on Miramar, well, kind of on Miramar. It depends. The point is, I don't like hot dropping with low loot settings. It's very frustrating when you come up with like you loot like an entire building, you find 0 weapons, and someone else finds any weapon if you have that, or if they just find a better gun than you. But in this situation, in these loot settings, you're almost always gonna find a rifle or a DMR to protect yourself, or even an SMG, because they've been turned up as well, actually, in cities if you hot drop them. So at some point, it's just like, all right, well, there's less RNG in city fights now because loot's turned up so high. Maybe if you're confident in your team, you should be up and taking these fights. That being said, when it comes to confidence, I don't think that WinZ's team, that one of these teams that did end up dropping the farm area, has that. Because they're essentially a team of free agents. They don't play with each other that much. I think that it's just like that sociopath, whenever he gets a slot in Survival Sunday, just brings the other free agents that he knows of and sees how well they do. Nothing wrong with
strategy,
that.
I mean, we've seen it in the past. It's worked out and they've won just mixed teams doing it. Lemon Squad, I think, was the last team that did it. And that was
a really big
like a month or 2 ago. And they came in and just tore it up. A bunch of free agents just absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, that was really cool to see. Actually, recently as well, we actually had a leaderboard grinding team get 2nd place.
There we go.
Ramses, in one of the weeks they were here for us. So we have a lot of little underdog stories that will be popping off here. Kanye 2020 as well in that underdog story, but probably not as confident a team as either, at least if they base their confidence off of their rankings in prior weeks. So probably a couple of teams that aren't necessarily as happy with their performances are saying, all right, let's just drop in the farm area. Hopefully there'll be less people in that area. Although, yeah, looking at the kill count, I think that we see what happened here.
And I mean, getting 2 points this early into the game is so huge. I mean, that's literally 20% of a win right there before 5 minutes is even into the game.
Bruiserton playing for Kanye 2020. I've been seeing this guy around everywhere. It seems like he's one of the guys that's trying to make his break into the comp scene, but just can't quite seem to find a team to mesh with him. And today might not actually end up prove any different, as he is one of the only 2 players left up on Kanye 2020. Looking around to the crate as well over here, Rocky Cutie able to go over here, roll up, find himself a quick crate. Might not even need with how much loot he has. He already has the M4 Car9, but as you were saying, very, very common here. And he will be adding an AUG potentially to his loadout. Yep, you see him unequipping that M4. We'll be adding this arguably better rifle, especially with that white new Arctic Digi skin to his arsenal.
I'm convinced that's the only reason he picked that gun up.
That would absolutely be factored to me, because I was like, all right, well, I'm better at the M4.
But I have this skin.
But I guess they both do have the skin. But the AUG is more, like, it's more white. Like the M4 giving the attack stock on, like the back is just kind of weird.
Ooh, we see some conflict going down here at Cube. We do have Mime and his team pulling up, but 2 other teams right along the outside of it. Boars camping the south side of the road. And a little bit of action going down at Deadman's Town as well between Polar Ace and it looks like VG, Vicious Gaming.
Is that what that's called, Deadman's Town? Goodness, I've never heard that called before, but I love it. Polar Ace having a very, very wide split here, trying to spread out here against Vicious Gaming. Vicious Gaming, by the way, the NPL team that we have qualifying today, playing very aggressively. Polar Ace as well having a couple of problems lately, but they are aware of the presence of everyone, so they know where everyone on Vicious Gaming is. Nubacabra against the suppressive fire actually is able to pre-fire Shuru after landing that peak, sort of taking a step back. His other members on his team, though, holding strong here in Deadman's Town, able to get kitted up with sniper rifles, scopes, and rifles very, very quickly here. So it is, at this point, with every single player on both teams having a sniper rifle, it is just a peekers battle here. Who will land the headshots? Who will, well, get themselves knocked? There's a lot of risk here for Vicious Gaming. There's a lot less coming for them, as well as having this one player, Shuru, out here on his own, sort of 1v1 in Nubacabra. If Shuru gets knocked here, there's almost no hope of him getting rezzed.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. It looks like he flipped his UAZ there, and that's kind of what started this engagement. Maybe drove too close to Polar Ace, and then ended up flipping the UAZ, and then his 3 teammates come in. They originally looted up Pachinki, so they didn't have to travel far to get to this fight.
Important to note as well, I think that if you flip a UAZ, you used to be able to shoot the front tire to reflip it. I don't think you can do that anymore.
I never knew that.
Well, you can't do it anymore, so it doesn't matter.
Okay, well, there you go.
I think it was recently patched out, which is very, very sad to me. But that means that he's even more stranded now than he was before. That being said, this is a team that I feel just mechanically better than Polar Ace.
I'd say so. I mean, Vicious Gaming, a squad of just 4 killers, honestly, and they've got the brains to back it up. And so, not the Polar Ace, not anything against Polar Ace, but
there it is.
Exactly. Shuru getting the headshot onto Loganberry, allowing VZ and Dash to push up on the right side. I don't think they're actually going to full commit to this push just yet. They're going to look for another knock. If maybe they get 2, that's probably when they'll fully commit.
I feel like this is a good time to commit though, especially knowing that Nubacabra is off there on the north side, unable to help out. Because right now, the only player that was looking outward for those 15 seconds was Darth Vapor. Yep. That being said, VZ and Vicious Gaming able to put this tree between them and Polar Ace, so even if they don't go for that push right away, Dash and VZ are able to claim the terrain on this far east side. That being said, this will be Vicious Gaming continuing for a very, very risky split, a 1-1-2 split as the 2 on this team goes to the push. That being said, they have a big flank on them, trying to pull down, does get a headshot into Darth Vapor, taking him down out of this game right now. Vernon Z, Dash spots him going for the peak and might be able to find him, but getting knocked quite low from Longenberry is going to force him back. Perjay trying to find something that he can do on his side, but not able to find too much as Dash goes for a heal on the far east. Shuru as well, he sees that Nubacabra is no longer peeking him and is trying to find an angle, but just can't quite find any damage yet.
I don't think he spotted Nubacabra off to the north there. If he gets out behind that tree, he's in trouble. That's 2 members knocked to Polar Ace, though. So Polar Ace needs to do something quick, maybe with some return fire, get a knock on their own.
These peak battles are deadly as VZ gets himself another Car9 headshot. Only Nubacabra is left. I think I saw a bike around near him, and he is going to be seeing what's going on here. All of his friends are down, bleeding on the ground, and he'll be trying to get away. VZ trying to land a snap car shot, but it will be Nubacabra getting away from this fight. And if that isn't showing how different PUBG is right now, that whole fight, then I don't know what will. Car9s everywhere, and a hugely aggressive push before phase 2 even pops. Such a different fight, and I like that a lot because Vicious Gaming, they know they can almost win a fight against almost any team here.
Yeah, I mean, and look at the circle too. It's just now starting to like fully close in, or I guess no, we're in phase 2. So yeah, this is it's crazy to see full-out fights happen this early. I'm just not used to it
no. Team Almost, I think Evasion might be one of the last ones left. They lost half their team earlier in the cube. Buyakai trying to find these shots onto the remnants of Almost. 2 players will crash. We have Tanaka is from the north coming in as well. We'll be seeing soon if he has a VSS, one of his favorite weapons for himself. Buyakai, though, done peeking considering he let 2 players get by. He's trying to get the last one. Actually, will barely be able to get Tanaka. Yuso not able to say anything about it, but will be able to get the res. Evasion as well coming in to help out. Buyakai missing the headshot, but definitely could have been a huge play for him. But he's going to be going for it. He realized they could be back behind here, checking a frag on behind the gas station.
That's a good one.
Gets a one knock, re-knocks one player, and Yuso Yuso is very, very low. Tucks the second one.
There it is.
Is it going to get behind? Oh my god, it will get behind the gas station, downing Yuso, flushing Tanaka, leaving this team only in a 1v1 scenario. And look at this evasion. He's running west. He is leaving these guys for dead, giving Buyakai the double kill for IG Sangao.
2 points in the favor of Buyakai. And that's the thing, one person camping a rotate, camping the bridge there.
Whoa, hold up. There's something really big going on here. Somehow WinZ lost their entire team, and now we have Corey, who has crept right up next to Marcelic, who is new and returned back to Bonzo team in this event. But looking over here, I actually don't know where Rocky Cutie is, if we can potentially get a shot of that. As Sword the Corey is just camping here. Look at this. He's just walking around the building. Marcelic playing the outside walls as well. Is there going to be a shot? He's actually being so patient. Gets spotted here. Goes for the down. Goes for the flush as well. Story of Corey getting a third kill for this team in this horrible starting situation. Rocky Cutie will be able to easily get that flush onto Corey. But going out in 16th place with 3 kills, it could be worse. But another huge crash going on to the north. Exodus crawling on the outside. It looks like that Lister is just trying to communicate with Quick Eyes, but he can't do anything. He actually does go for the res as the smoke begins to dissipate. It looks like that Squad 15 on the meme I can see from the northwest is actually the team that is trying to contest this. We do see on the bottom left as well with... Yeah, they were that's them getting the flush on the building.
Okay, that's a different person, yeah.
But Umke was getting the res onto Pfeiffer as well. So both players on this team will end up getting res. A great situation for this team to be in now.
Man, I'm loving these early fights. This is 12 minutes in, and that's
So
already
many
one team.
crashes. Oh my god, they're
46
pushing.
alive.
Team
And
80 is pushing. They're going.
They want these kills. They know they're injured. They know they're low on meds and vests and helmets, and they're probably looting
They're
right
not
now.
in zone too, so this is such a smart play. We will see in the kill feed that Nubakaba probably got a bike accident, probably got his wheel shot out. I wouldn't expect him to have that happen to him. As we do see Team Hades beginning their push. They did give this team time to heal, time to pop their stims, so they will be a little bit combat effective, but the frag coming out. I don't like that they started the fight. They didn't get anything for what could have been a potential ambush. Silent Sun wrapping now around the right side. The rest of his team sort of hanging back on the east flank. He does have a buddy, so a 2-2 split here as Silent Sun leads the way on the northern flank. He's trying to find something, but as long as these players stay in the yellows, it's going to be really hard for Team Hades to find a knock. And these frags, it really is a knock on the Team Hades with Panzerknacker here, getting very close to the EMP. Spots one player on a flank, goes to the EMP spray, gets into the one shot, but will not be able to get the knock. And now with this gate shot from behind, goes to the jump, actually doesn't die somehow. Firefighter will go down in the meantime. Panzerknacker trying to go for a very, very cheeky heal. Might not be able to make it happen. Silent Sun, meanwhile, holding his ground on the high ground, trying to prevent a push coming out from Quick Eyes, but he's playing very passive, chucking nades behind it. Hard to kill he is, but while it's going on, Firefighter res, Silent Sun knocked out at low HP, and Panzerknacker able to get a heal. Hades is still in this.
Yeah, I mean, they were able to get the res off and kind of reset the entire fight, and everyone's back. Firefighter is down again. This is a second knock, and he's flushed immediately, so this is now 4v3. Nims is down as well.
Umke is on a huge flank right now as he gets 2 players, Pfeiffer and Lister as well, get their own knocks, and now it's just Silent Sun, the initial flanker, who is left all alone. He did not get enough done, and now is left with players swarming all around him, and that push did not go in Team Hades' favor. They got too little done in their initial ambush. Their flank didn't accomplish anything, and actually at the end, it was Umke who was able to get his own flank ready, and Team Hades did not see that coming.
If they would have led a little better with a good knock right off the start, that fight would have been completely different. But the fact of the matter is they whiffed the nade, and it cost them big. And honestly, like Umke and friends, they held that push off phenomenally. So nothing against the defense there, because they played it just like they needed to.
Really curious situation here as you see Merkham holding in this compound against Exodus. Very, very awkward spot to be in. And oh my god, VZ, he has hit bolt action after bolt action shot this entire game. And this split from Merkham will now be regretted as Ultra Bummer is fragged. He is smoked out, but it doesn't even matter if he's fragged because the other 3 players from his team are currently holding the compound to the southwest, and they will not be coming in to help out. Not much reason to, as the new zone does pop, and they are all in zone right now. The second compound right now is currently empty. Hopefully someone figures this out. Actually, but Merkham has better things to worry about. He will be getting this first care package of the game. It seems so greedy, but with these settings, is it okay to do this?
I mean, I honestly don't think he needed all that much. It looked like he had level 2 gear that he dropped on the ground, but yeah, the level 3 helmet vest is always nice to have, but an AUG,
with not much ammo.
I don't think that's necessary.
Well, I mean, you can't really know what you're going for beforehand. What if it was an AUG, man?
He made it back to the compound, so hindsight, yes, it was worth. I would have never done it. You're driving out the middle
big
of the field.
crash coming in from Bonzo on the far east, though. Looks like that they did lose Dash at some point, but they have made it to the, well, I guess the top 13, which isn't saying too much. I feel like that so many teams have died yet, but a lot of people have been able to, despite suffering some losses, able to retreat during or after the fighting ends, after the fighting concludes. Vicious, however, holding the west side of Gatka. This could end up being awkward as they're not going to be able to hold too long in this area. Circle does begin. Shrink has quite a bit of time before it ends. Vicious Gaming, however, realizing that Bonzo team not going for a push quite yet, are still trying to harass and harry the flanks of IG Sangal to the west. Also, I'm looking at the map right now for IG Sangal. They still have 3 players in that compound or in that area. Buyakai, who is recently seen in southern Georgia Pool, is nowhere to be seen. I wonder if he got out there okay, or if he's still just, or if they're going for like a 3-1 split with 1 player camping rotates and the other 3 that are just, you know, playing center.
That's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, that's what they're doing.
That's
He's
exactly
just playing the edge. That's so weird.
I'm telling you, man, new meta entirely. Camping rotates is so huge now. It's the extra free points that you can pick up just on stragglers. And
there's someone rotating right now. They might end up rotating toward Buyakai. They actually will just be sending it towards center zone. Meanwhile, 3-3 esports on the southwest side. Menbun playing super sneaky, not even prone, but has not been spotted yet by the remnants of Kanye 2020. Spen and Bruiserton haven't spotted him yet. He might see him soon. Oh my god, they're just not looking his way, man.
He's got the SKS sniper rifle combo. I love it. DMR SR combo.
We saw something nutty happen there in the kill feed as I think we saw Made in Venezuela get taken down as 2 teams are going to be trying to go for center compound at the exact same time. It will be Winnie Wins Gaming who's able to claim that for themselves. This new team set up in center zone. They haven't gotten any kills yet, but it might not matter as having center compound into the late game, that'll just get you kills for free essentially.
Yeah, I mean, the kills will come to you at that point. You won't have to leave, as long as you don't have to leave this compound and run across the street with a team looking right at you. You're pretty much guaranteed at least 2 to 3 kills coming directly to you.
Spotted. Look, man, Bunner, snake extraordinaire.
It's unfortunate.
Certainly not a 6-mo. Sadly, if he was there, he probably would have lasted a little bit longer. This is the best snake I've ever seen. PLAYERUNKNOWN'S Esports is able to finish off Made in Venezuela here, despite only having 2 players left up. It looks like it was a very, very bloody fight for one of the 2 teams with PLAYERUNKNOWN'S Esports Latin America able to stay alive with 2 up, not losing a single player in that engagement. Meanwhile, however, with the new zone, more players sort of trickling their way in on all the edges. Kanye 2020 in the southwest, 1 player in the blue there, Evasion, the last player from Team Almost, who actually has a player rotating towards him.
iBoars sent one out. Yeah, do they know that the Evasion was sitting there? They shot at him originally, so they had to have known.
Getting shot in the back. This is really dangerous for Koski. He's going to be having to go back to the low ground. Will be able to do so as his team is covering him from the west. Bruiserton, Spen, I think only 2 players up are unwilling to chase that. It will be Evasion who shoots Spen in the back. Kanye 2020 just cannot catch a break as from the far north, Evasion is able to use the height advantage to take down 1 player, forcing Bruiserton closer and closer to this ditch that Koski finds himself in. Does have the heals to pop at some point. We'll definitely do that soon, but a frag, actually no, a mini from IG Sangal will spot the moving and crawling Bruiserton, taking out Kanye 2020 in 10th place.
I'm liking this team's play style. The 3-1 split with, well, I guess 2-1-1 split with Buyakai off in the northwest, kind of just doing his own thing, camping out rotates. This is nice. Hopefully they're going to be able to reconnect and play as a 4-man in the late game.
So strong if you're able to play as in center compound around phase 3. It seems so good at that point. We'll be seeing if that continues to be the case, however, as PLAYERUNKNOWN'S Esports actually just send it to dead center and smoke the hell out of themselves. They found a rock, they found a little ditch, and this is going to be their home as they just try to hold on. And this might actually work, because looking around the rest of the zone, there's a lot of contention that's coming out here. The only team that can really punish this that much is going to be Winnie Wins Gaming, the team in the compound to the north, who actually... They
really do.
Well, they do have a lot of incentive to push out, though, because they're on the northern edge. They're not going to be able to stay in here, so they might be able to push out, but it will be Azako Boars to the west that could potentially punish that kind of play. That being said, I would like to see them push out here, as one of these 2 teams is going to cause them problems later on. The only question is how. Izako Boys, however, holding a marvelous ditch here on the north side, being compounded as well by the vehicles they have to make this a full-on fort.
Look at this smoke trail coming in from the field. This team's doing great. They made it all the way into Gatka. Maro's connecting onto Pfeiffer, taking him down and out, leaving just 3 members up. Lister taking some shots as well. going down. They already have 7 kills to their names as well, so if they're able to make it in here and get some more, they get a 10-point game.
They got more smokes. They have even more
nade.
smokes, but a frag next to him will take Lister down low, and Quick Eyes as well. At 25 HP, Umke holding the far east side, trying to go for some cover. That being said, right now it is a res trade, but getting shot in the back. Vicious Gaming
knows this.
Vicious Gaming is going for a push.
This is exactly what this team on the East needs. Vicious Gaming coming in third party. They took down and out one person, leaving just 2 members of Maro's team.
Oh, look at Rocky Cutie, though. He's here prone, just in the middle of a couple of bushes in a very, very surprising spot. We'll be able to see a player coming in, and we'll take down Umke as he goes for one of his trademark pushes, or rather one of his trademark flanks on the side. We'll get punished for that right away, leaving this in a 2v2 v3 situation. The 3 being Vicious Gaming, who's just watching this whole fight go down, saying, man, this is going to be so easy when they finally take each other down out of this game. They've already gotten the only knock that had happened from this fight, but look at this. Quick Eyes and Lister from Exodus were able to wrap around Rajku's building and able to get their own compound. And with the new zone still allowing Gatka in, this fight is not going to end anytime soon.
There's 3 teams inside Gatka. I'm surprised Lister and Quick Eyes were able to wrap themselves around and make it in here.
The smokes were so good.
They're making a push onto Sharu's building.
Well,
it's
yeah,
just
Lister on the southeast side. Look at this. He's going to be going in here and what he wants, but he didn't know someone was in there. Sure, able to easily get that kill, leaving only Quick Eyes up alive. Does have himself some decent kit. 7 kills to their name as well. The fact that they're still alive right now is a miracle, and with 8 teams left alive, they have now broken into the non-kill points. So they will be able to add on whatever placement points they get from this round into this game. Exodus is looking like they're in a marvelous spot right now.
Yeah, they're having a hell of a game. And I mean, this circle alone, I'd say at least 2 to 3 teams are going to be wiped out, because this isn't big enough to host 8 teams.
Bonds is wrapping a little bit to the north, but with the new zone popping, there are a couple of teams that are in zone right now. Markham to the south, as well as the boys to the west. That's going to be IG Sangal, are 2 teams that are not in, but Protege just doing a marvelous job of preventing Markham. And yeah, if you're at low speed in
9
a Dacia
kills
here, yeah, if we're talking high kills, Exodus and Vicious Gaming, 2 of our top killing teams in the same compound. 3v1 situation for Vicious, so it's going to be hard to lose this fight. But look over here, IG Sangal able to push into this rock formation. Oh no, getting stuck on them. Protege is able to get a knock onto Rupture, but will not be able to finish that off. Meanwhile, on the far north side, we have Zodiac getting a knock onto Izako Boars. They may be making their push soon as well. With that knock, could be a pretty important play if they do decide to go for that.
Just a little too far. Looks like it hit the bounce. If he had cooked that just a little bit longer, that would have been a perfect nade taking down Uno. He's gonna. Looks like he maybe tried for another. No, just trying to get a K9 shot. Vicious Gaming is playing so great. They're playing aggressive when they need to. It's unfortunate they lost Dash earlier. I saw I think he got a tire popped in the field on this rotate to Gatka.
If you think that they had 4 up, do you think that they'd be allowing players to stay in Gatka right now?
I think they'd be pushing it. Yeah, especially because I know that they took out at least 1. I think they took out 2 members from Maro's team, and then they know that Quick Eyes and Friend are low because they killed one of them, and then they saw in the kill feed that 2 got eliminated. So.
Okay.
I mean, they have the numbers game there. If they have 4 up, I think they push that hard. I think they could do it even with 3.
Yeah, I think they could do it. They could as well. The only problem is that with IG Sangal to their west and 2 teams to their east, it's going to be messy. One thing goes wrong and they get eliminated in 7th place, which would be the worst thing in the world. But there's no reason to take risks that teams don't feel like they need to take.
Yeah.
That being said, Izako as well as Winnie Wins Gaming are now going to be forced out of zone. This is going to be awkward for both teams. That being said, a call from Izako could be made somewhere in the new zone. But with 18 left alive, I don't even know what cover's left for them.
Yeah, this is going to be basically more free kills coming into VG's way, because they have line of sight on all these teams that you're going to have to run straight in. And
there's a couple Gatka still in play here?
Gatka is still in play, yeah.
Oh my god, dude.
This is free kills to them.
Winnie and Izako are just screwed.
Yeah. I mean, unless they have like 12 smokes. You saw what Quick Eyes and Friends did with it. They made it was probably about 12 smokes that they spent.
These trees are in play actually, and with how high they are, Vicious Gaming can't actually see beyond these, as well as the rest of the people
play the rock.
Yeah,
they can play the rock. Okay.
There's actually a lot of cover here for Winnie Wins Gaming. I wish they had vehicles to supplement this with cover to their west, but it doesn't matter too much, as they're not going to be too contested in that direction anyway, depending on what Izako
They've got the smokes as well.
But they are taking a lot of pressure from Bonzo. So all these guys that are in Gatka are sort of saying, okay, well, we're not getting pushed, so let's just work together right now. Take out these guys that are coming in from the north, and then that's placement points for everyone. As well, looking over here, Izako Boars making their own push. fragging out. This is going to be PLAYERUNKNOWN'S esports, actually, that we're going for a humongous smoke cloud here, but smokes are a pretty easy place to frag. It's pretty obviously where someone's hiding in them. I know Harold will be going down there. Sizzy making his own frag, making his own push. He is a star fragger for this team, but getting caught up in the open. There's a smoking for him, not a frag. He will be at Larry low HP, going for a heal. Will Izako hear it? No, they will not. They're still trying to frag this position out. Gets his own kit off. Will not be getting damage with these frags, I think, but whoa. Looks like he's trying to toss a cheeky frag out here. Oh, it's getting to the blood. Sizzy going for a push. But immediately gets spotted out. If Norkeys wasn't there watching that could have been a lot of damage he got out with a huge flank, but he is not able to get any work done, and Izako Boars is able to take a humongous ridge line.
Yeah.
The only problem with this ridge line is that I think it might be easily flanked from IG Sangal, but they can't really move too much either because of just how contested, how much pressure Vicious Gaming and the rest of Gatka is putting out in that direction.
Yeah, this is a game of third party. You can't overpeak anything because you don't know all the sightlines that can be seen.
Whoa. Isn't this huge for Norkeys? This is huge for Norkeys. Oh my goodness, Karma getting hugely outflanked, left in the open. No, nothing he can really do about that. A frag coming in to Norkeys' spot, but will not be taking him down as he's able to easily move around. But third party coming in, as soon as he even moves, makes that flank not as damaging as it could be. Ghost Star also went down at some point, but look at this. Izako, they don't have too many kills compared to what the teams left in this game, so they want to get as hard as they can. Although, as I say that, they're able to flush Karma out and are now on a rampage, taking Karma out of this game, as the rest of Winnie Wins Gaming are all sort of cowering behind this rock, the only cover they have, but it's not even in zone. That being said, when the next one does pop, they will be able to take Izako Boars out, as this ridge line that Izako has is not going to be in play.
Yeah. And honestly, Izako Boars can't really peek up, and they got 3 eyes from Winnie Wins Games pointed directly at him, as well as like a few eyes from down
you
south.
Just try peeking that.
Yeah, exactly. The second you peek, you're going to get melted.
Oh, but Norkeys going some jump peeks and immediately gets just lambasted by bullets here. The zone beginning its shrink. How will Izako Boars, as well as IG Sangal on the west side, react to this? There's 2 teams that are hugely displaced by the zone. A ton of pressure coming out from the Boars, but it will be Sangal who gets knocked here first. They're trying to go for some reses, but what's going on in Vicious Gaming, seeing the blood in the water, seeing the weakness from this team, checking some frags, going for a small push here, and now it's just Rupture left up alive, who does not have time to res his teammates. You cannot do that. You can't go for the res. You don't have enough time. Just go.
He is in trouble. He needs to get damage out on the Vicious Gaming or some other team, or just there.
If he had smokes, then that was a bad use of his time.
Yeah, I completely agree. But it's unfortunate. Sometimes you crumble under pressure, and I think that's what we just saw right there.
Northwest, Izako barely able to find themselves a small ridge line, a little bit of cover. Meanwhile, Winnie Wins Gaming, the Northeast, I think that they have themselves another smaller rock. So they're slowly running out of rocks here. But with the new zone popping, they have a chance here. There's almost no cover left. Gatkill will all be forced in. As long as they don't just die, they will be okay. But Rajku on the flank from Bonzo, able to get a lot of damage out little here. Trying to pop some smoke, he'll be able to get the res off as well. I think that they will be able to recover. Winnie Wins Gaming with Littlefoot able to get those reses. Meanwhile, Quick Eyes crawling around the side of this fence line. As Poseidon goes down to zone, Zudek going down to zone as well, as this blue zone already pushing in. Vicious Gaming lost 2 players from Izako Boars at some point. I have no idea how that happened, leaving only Proje alive here. Rocky Cutie now getting his 5th kill. Proje going back, trying to get these reses off. I'm not sure if he has time. It's very hard to tell with these new zones if you have time to go for the res, but oh my god, Norky is able to get a 3rd kill as he peeks at the end of the smoke. Izako Boars making huge bounds here at the last phase in this game, and somehow is Bonzo team, who is one of the only other duos left in this game.
Norcus is just tearing it up. 8 kills to his name. There's still 5 people alive. There's 3 other people that, I mean, he could have a double-digit kill himself.
He might be able to, and that's enough for a win. That's
on top of a win,
that's a valuable player right here for Izako Boars. They will even be able to crawl into this cover, crawl into the hard cover. The only one left in the zone. That being said, a humongous smoke cloud will prevent Bonzo from
dissipating
being
though.
But once again, Brooksville, as the smoke begins to
see him,
going for a flank, there's a ton of bushes here. It's hard to see if you actually sees him.
Is that a ghillie suit?
Oh my god, the ghillie suit makes him almost impossible to see. And that is hugely impactful in this situation. He's going for a push. 11
They have 11 kills too.
So many of these These guys have so many kills. It's Winnie Wins Gaming, the far north, who have the most to lose. They need this kill. They need this first place to get any amount of points with this. But Littlefoot caught out in the open, forced to run around a little bit as she gets spotted. Norky's one of the top fraggers this game, is the one who sees her. That's going to be a hard fight for Little to win.
Norky's is just ready. Just aiming down sight. Yeah, let's say the second Littlefoot steps up behind that rock, she's in trouble. Norky's half HP. He's got bandages. Don't think he's going to have time to med, though.
Bonzo playing real aggressively. He hears him moving around. He's watching the edge of the smoke. He sees him coming around, but Piku's advantage is a hell of a draw, Charity. And it will be Bonzo team with 12 kills. It seems like the average, it literally is the average, rounded up actually. But just look at the other top teams that got these kills as well. Look at this. Izako Boars, 11. None for the third place team, so they're probably going to be significantly below third place. But fourth place, Vicious Gaming. Let's do some quick math here. 11 kills for this team. Exodus with this huge smoke push getting 5th place as well as 7 kills. Our top 5 teams all feeling very good about their placements with the sheer number of kills that they got. That was a nutty game.
Yep.
I love these settings.
Yeah, like I said, that's honestly one of the most fun games I've casted in a long time. It was action the entire time.
Oh my god.
I mean, literally, we saw our first full-out team fight 8 minutes into the game.
Yeah.
And I mean, the cool thing is the teams that got the points there really earned them too.
Yeah,
it wasn't like they just got circle favor onto Gatka was kind of a big factor there. But you look at Izako Boars, they didn't get circle blessed. They pushed through that entire thing.
I can't believe
they went from having 3 kills going into that final 2 phases to having 11 or 12.
If this was old PUBG, I would have just written them off. Because if they're alive in that last zone, then every other team in that zone is just sitting there. And then when Izako Boars runs the open, they just get clapped. They're just dead right away. But because there are so few teams alive in the point where Izako was most
those kills.
Yeah, they got the most kills, but they're also able to cross some very, very vulnerable parts because they were on there was the road that cut the zone not in half. They were barely on the edge there. And they were in a trench line beyond that. When they moved across that road, there was no one there to contest them. The only one that could have been in position was Winnie Wins Gaming, and that's only if they decide to stay on the edge of the zone, outside the white, after the zone pops, specifically to gatekeep Izako Boars. And that's a bunch of ifs that need to go right to make that work. So I don't blame Winnie Wins Gaming for not going for that, but because they didn't go for that, there was no other position that any teams felt like they had to hold because they were pushing so much that could have contested their rotate across the road. After that, able to make a really good push and deploy Winnie Sports Latin America, claim the high ground, claim a wonderful trench line. And you're so right when you're they were working with nothing that entire game.
I mean, they got the knocks onto I can't remember what team it was. It was the team that was directly to the west of Gatka, and they were stuck on the rocks. IG Sangal. They got the knocks on that in the most dire moments. Literally, it was make or break. They needed to get this knock to be able to survive this next circle. They get the knock, and then they got a little help from VG with the nade. I think Sharu chucked out a nade and got another one of the members down. But that basically allowed, the 2 knocks there allowed them to push along that south edge. That team got eliminated, and then they eliminated VG, and then they kind of just worked that west side once it was cleared out. But them getting that knock and literally the make or break moment was so huge.
Meanwhile, Winnie Wins Gaming, I feel, was playing the old sort of play style, which they got third place. We'll be seeing after game 1
5 points.
How that strategy works. That's 5 points. That's what most teams will be looking for from game to game. And they didn't really have to do much for it. A couple of rotates to get compound and play passive, and then just get battered and bruised as other teams that have just taken more strategic spots earlier in the game than you are just contesting as you try to leave your compound on the edge, which. And they were able to clean that compound pretty late as well. So, no harm done to them. And they're one of the only teams I feel that were alive in the end game that were still playing the old style.
Right.
IG Sengel, super weird style. Buikai, camping rotates, 3 players, playing out from their compound and trying to get as much damage as they can. Vicious Gaming, we saw what they were doing the entire time. So many fights they're going for. Exodus as well, a very, very aggressive team on the far east side. They went for their own push. They went for a crash on a compound, then held off a push. So they're already playing super aggressive. And then we had actually here's the leaderboard. And then we had Bonzo team. I actually don't really know what Bonzo team did that game. I think they were the teams that we didn't spectate too much in the early game. They were holding Chopsticks for a while when they got pushed by WinZ. They were able to hold them off, but besides that, I just saw them in Gatka for a while contesting Vicious Gaming.
Yeah, they crashed Gatka and then just held it out. They held off Vicious Gaming the entire time, which is not an easy team to keep at bay. I mean, basically, if you allow any knock to happen, Vicious Gaming is going to be knocking at your door immediately. And so they did a good job and it got themselves the win.
And just look at this
and 12
leaderboard.
Kills.
It's
like such a spread.
It's totally decided by kills. This is what this is. If you get more kills, you get more points. It's almost completely like a straight line where kills equal to points. It gets a little bit dicier there in the middle when you're looking at WinZ, PLAYERUNKNOWN'S esports, and all of those teams. But it's such a different way to experience the game, but it still feels competitive. That's what I was worried about. Yeah. I was hoping, or I was wondering if when this new point system came out, if it was gonna feel just dumb, with people like pushing the entire time, everyone hot dropping these garbage compounds, just taking fights with Saigas and vectors without any attachments on them. I thought that this was what this was gonna be, but it's not that at all. There's people that are just making nutty Car9 shots. It is almost completely decided by skill. There's a little bit less like BR elements than what I would expect from a BR game.
Yeah.
But the point is as long as you get yourself like 1 or 2 compounds split, you're going to be fine after that. Just good luck, because that's when the hard part begins.
And I think it opens up room for a little more strategy as well. Like we saw a 3-1 split to where you have one person camping rotates, or maybe a 2-2 split where you have one team holding down a good compound that has good overview on everything, and then 2 people camping a rotate close by. I think camping rotates is going to be absolutely huge coming up, because getting some of those early kills it's going to be key. It offsets maybe taking an 8th or 9th place if you can have 5 or 6 kills racked up by that point.
I think I 100% agree with that. I think what does it even mean? But you're right when you said that there's more room for strategy going later into the game. Because for a long time, the strategy was just, how do you get to the mid game as consistently as possible?
Yeah.
So a lot of effort was put in to, where do you drop? What's the meta? Where do teams drop? Where am I not allowed to drop? What rotates am I allowed to take from that basement where these teams dropped? There was a lot of that was just, frankly, it was just dumb. Or these teams were just like, well, I'm not allowed to go there because this team drops every time. Now, with how little you need and what kind of rotate camps are needed, I feel like that's just gonna get thrown out the window, which I love.
I'm right there with you. I mean, beforehand, teams could shoot for a 9th place and a few kills, and you're all right. You're not hurting off a 9th place and a few kills, because it was a 9th place is 100 points. A win would be 400 points. So 25% of a win for a 9th place, not too shabby. Now it's 0. You get 0 points for a 9th place.
You get nothing. So if you're
10 points for win. So literally, I mean, a 9th place isn't the easiest to get to either. It's a little easier in the new settings because more teams are fighting it out and duking early, and so it's like you see some number adjustments, but it's still
really hard.
Yeah.
10th and 9th place are when around you survived the meat grinder.
Yeah.
But if you die at that point, then it's just like, come on, you survived as a solo player, the hardest part of the game.
There could be 20-something people alive, and that's 10 teams.
Yeah, it's like, oh my. I don't think I would mind to see that revisited a little bit.
Yeah.
But right now, man,
I mean, it's all about the kills.
Yeah, and especially as well, because if you're like a snake with 30 alive. Then you're probably looking at people as walking by you. If it's a solo snake, you're just
pull the trigger.
Yeah, I think that you absolutely pull the trigger.
A point. Yeah. That's a point right there.
Yeah.
I mean, it all depends. You saw Quick Eyes. He got to the compound and his team was eliminated, and they took. I think as his teammates died, Quick Eyes was in an 8th place.
Okay.
And I think he ended up taking a 4th there or a 5th or something like that. That's basically 3 more points coming to his name, or 3 or 4 more points, as opposed to 1 or 0 even if he were to go out with his teammates. And
so if you're in the mid game as a snake, maybe you go for the shot.
Stretch it out a little bit more.
Well, no. I'm not sure about that, because if you're in the mid game, you got 30 to 20 players left alive, then it's going to be really hard for you as a solo to break into that as a solo snake. But if you're if you've made it past the mid game and you're in the end game, and you know that everyone's fighting all the time, everyone's beaten and battered, there's probably no full 4-man left. At that point, it's like, all right. Maybe you take a step back to older PUBG, you survive as long as you can, and maybe you can like you just take like a 1v2 into the first place. Yeah. Maybe that'll work. But I feel like if you're in the mid game, like as far as like risk reward analysis goes, if you have a double kill and you're in like 9th place, you just take 2 points, I think.
Yeah, I think so as well. I mean, that 2 points is literally the difference between a 5th and a 3rd place. It's
yeah.
It's
only 10 points for first place.
Yeah. So I think going for any of the points is huge. Insta flushing now, like the second you down someone, get that kill. Do not let it get stolen. And that's
going to be the big thing that I think people are going to talk about next is kill steals. Oh my God, that is going to be infuriating.
Yeah. And I mean, realistically, now the argument of like, oh well, if you steal a down kill, should you only get a portion of the points?
But how you get split 1 point?
Well, yeah, exactly.
You double everything.
Yeah, that argument is now a little bit more viable. Because with kills being 10% of the win, you know, if you do all that work for the kill, hey, maybe you deserve some more points.
But at the same time, I feel like there weren't as many opportunities for third parties in that situation.
Yeah,
where it's like a lot of time, if you get the down there, you're either in like a 1v1, and like there's no one really there to steal the kill that often anyway. That's kind of it, actually. There's just a lot more like 1v1 squad fights. There aren't as many times where people are just holding their compound for as long as they can, trying to stretch it in to get to some placement points. There isn't really any reason to do that anymore.
That's
it. So there's no reason to sit there in compounds and try and third party if it's just going to, like, maybe you get a point from a third party, but you lose your entire team by showing up late to the zone of the process. It's like the risk-reward analysis just isn't there. So, like, it's a bigger issue when it shows up, but I don't think it's going to show up as much. That being said, that's only Erangel. And when it comes to Miramar, I feel like this is going to be a really hard map to play with these new settings, because I do feel like third partying is easier in Miramar.
Yeah. And camping rotates is easier.
Oh God!
I mean,
this is gonna be
the terrain's
ugly,
not
man.
You can't go off road as easy on Miramar, and if you do, you kind of have to stick to dirt roads. And so
bikes are gonna be so important.
Oh, I mean, they already were huge on Miramar. But like realistically, I mean, if you luck out and you get a few bikes, you could have rotated anywhere you wanted to. But now it's kind of like if you don't get those bikes and you're traveling with a truck, you have to choose your pathing so much better, because people camping these rotates, the dirt roads and everything, it just probably 3 or 4 times is likely to run into that now.
Yeah, I agree with that. Camping rotates, very, very dangerous. So easiest way to avoid that, take a bike, avoid the rotate camping paths. That being said, these guys are going to have almost no idea what rotates are being camped, because this is the first competitive event that they've played in these settings. So it's going to be a learning experience for everyone involved, me and you, actually mostly me, included here, as we go into our second game of the First Blood Survival Sunday number 42. Who is going to be able to duke it out? Will Bonzo team be able to keep their lead, or are they going to fall apart under the Miramar heat? I wouldn't mind some of that heat right around now, man.
They've got 22 points already. That's a great lead.
That seems like a ton.
That is a ton. That is a ton, yeah. And a playing path that's favoring one side of the map again. It's not too even. It's definitely on the north side, cutting out pretty much everywhere on that southeast side. I don't think we're going to see too many teams in Los, maybe one. But probably they're going to stick along that north side. I mean, with the loot settings, there is so much to pick from.
Yeah, you
Miramar.
were mentioning like garbage looting a little bit before off stream, and I feel like that's going to be the thing to do on Miramar. There are so many compounds that, like, you know, like any of these little specks on the map arguably could kit you out. Yep. Like one of them might be able to, 2 of them almost certainly, I feel. I don't have any reason to believe that other than speculation. But I think that because of that, there's people that are avoiding cities. Pozo,
San Martin.
empty. San Martin, empty. Everyone's thinking that. So that's it. Everyone's thinking that. Everyone's thinking just go for garbage, just do whatever you want.
Okay,
and people are just saying, all right, it's free. Now. I guess we'll take it. And look at this. Teams dropping Power Grid instead of San Martin. Hacienda, one of the best spots to go to early, empty. Polar is able to get this, thankfully, for themselves, but Vicious Gaming in the area trying to prevent that from happening, but will not be able to. Actually, one shot does land onto Loganberry, so he's probably panicking a little bit. But there are so many high-value spots that are empty.
Picado, San Martin.
Picado's empty. That's an amazing spot.
I'm thoroughly surprised. Thoroughly surprised. But I mean,
I'm not, because what we're saying, everyone's doing what we're saying.
Yeah,
compounds are amazing. Cities don't matter, so no one's in cities anymore. But when you realize that, people are gonna start going for cities. Oh my God, it's 2 minutes into the game and people are still in their shoots too. Gangrene, who is able to pop a shoot super early, is now trapped, unarmed between Almost and Merkham. I have no idea how he gets out of this. I think Evasion might have seen him and is going for maybe another roadkill. Oh, he found himself a buggy Evasion, not gonna be able to get that one for himself. But his buddy, who has a kill, Tanaka, might be able to. He has already kitted with one bull mini and a scar for himself. But Gangrene, realizing how much danger he's in, is going to be backing off out of here. No roadkill to start off this game quite yet.
I mean, it's satisfying watching these early games just because you could see all the loot that these players are picking up. It's even more satisfying to play in it.
Oh,
because,
man.
I mean, literally every game you're getting your DMR, your AR, and your pick of the bunch. And so it's literally like, it's these players' dreams.
I think that my mind has been changed, Charity. I think my mind might have been changed. We'll see going into the rest of this
Time
game,
will
however.
tell. Time will tell.
Because there are still some iffy discussions to have regarding these settings. But I think that outside the arguments of changing the game too much from public games, it's a good direction to go.
I think so too. Speaking of which, the circle on this east side really favoring Team 5 here. They did some of the ghetto looting starting.
Okay.
I mean, this isn't the worst ghetto loot. I mean, you get the warehouses and you get Junkyard. Junkyard is definitely going to kit someone. Man Bun probably has the worst of the bunch, and he's still going to walk out pretty kitted. But yeah, overall, they've got great spots to camp rotations because they're by dirt roads that people are gonna 100% gonna be driving on.
Okay.
And then they have Mooney, who's already in a great compound, one that has vision of pretty much everything surrounding it off to the south and has walls around it. It's kind of easy to hold, not the easiest to take.
I feel like this is one of the worst spots to be early though, because I feel like it's really easy to get third party and be a third party from here due to just how many hills there are. I get what you're saying, and there's certainly be able to walk away from your kitted, but it just feels iffy to me.
Okay.
I don't have a reason for that. You're making all these facts here. I'm just like, I don't know. It feels bad, Charity.
Hey, well, sometimes you got to go with that gut feeling.
My gut's pretty strong in this game, I think.
That's fair. Mooney's feeling good about it. He's got himself an SLR AK combo. I do think that compound does need more than one person to hold it. Like you said,
you can't hold that.
There's ridges all around it. So
I've seen squads hold that compound and still get surprised.
Yeah, exactly. I think Freestyles and Jagged need to get down to him as fast as possible. Man Bun's way up in that northwest. I didn't realize how far away he was from his teams. He's going to have to drive right by Naukus, which
Northeast. He's a frag leader.
Yeah, I was about to say, we know that's not a good idea.
Yeah.
A guy dropped 8 kills alone last game.
Yeah, that's going to be very, very scary. Luckily, he saw him drop reasonably early in the game, so he'll be able to wrap around that to the north side, hopefully able to link up to his team. I don't like the idea of all the players going to Mooney's compound, I think it's like a very, very conservative play to make. If you're trying to camp rotates, it's like if you were playing old comp, yes, hold that compound. New comp, hold the hills, and then go to the compound later.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I'd put 2 in the compound, 2 by the North Hills. Double Lung driving right by Tanaka. Tanaka connecting with some shots. And, ooh.
Dang, he waited a while to pull the trigger there, but still able to get that knock on the Double Lung. Connie 2020 unable to catch a break this game. And with how much loot Double Lung had, if Tanaka wasn't kid before, man.
He is now.
He is now.
There's nothing quite. He's got 4 grenades already. There's nothing quite like getting a kill with the new setting.
He's mad. He needed meds.
Literally, when you open up that loot box, you're like, oh my goodness. Literally gets everything he needs for the rest of the game. He won't have to go loot anything else.
I saw him drop an M4 for a Scar, man. And just to go off topic a little bit, I'm so sad that the Scar isn't on more maps. I'm not hugely a fan of the gun. I like it a little bit, but it's more so it's always like the gun that gets removed. And it makes sense because the M4 is more popular. It kind of has like a little niche role as like the tapping gun, but also the close range spray gun. It kind of hard to spray at mid range. The M4 is, but it's always just the Scar is like the middle child, or it just gets thrown away for other things.
I'm right there with you, and the Scar is the one that I had the most skins on. So I'm like, hey, let me keep my Scar, dang it.
I got the Digi skin for it.
I want to use this gun.
I would personally like to see like the G3 and the QBZ added to all maps. Maybe like put it in the same pool as the M4, or as the Scar. So it's like the M4 and then the G3 Scar QBZ pool. So it's like they have the equal chance of finding that one gun with the 3 guns. I would love to see that come into play. Just so I can use those guns more. It's just really fun to see them, and they all accomplish the same role in different ways, being the lower rate of fire, low DPS, easier to use at long range. That being said, it looks like over here the Team 5 303 Esports will be going for that conservative play here, getting this compound early, and even Bonzo going for a conservative play themselves.
They're just peppering
their
this
lead.
team. They got 3 of them down to 1 shot. Manbun finally able to reconnect with his team.
Winnie wins gaming, holding a compound outside graveyard, able to take it, get a knock onto. Ooh, looks like he was going to drive up this hill. He needs to be worried here, because if that number 1 of the car explodes, he's in trouble. If it rolls away, he's also in more trouble. The car begins getting detonated, and Nubakawa will be able to crawl away from it into the smoke, but it didn't go for the res, which I feel like was very doable there.
It was risky.
He was in smoke, though.
Yeah, but they got a couple shots off, and so I don't know. He could have done it probably, but I still would have had the hesitation with both Zodiac and Karma firing down from there. You don't want to risk getting 2 people down trying to save 1.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
It's high risk, high reward. I mean, you could have kept your teammate alive, but at the same time, you could be down to 2
This
now.
spot's going to be real hard to hold as 3, though, is what I'm thinking about. It's a good spot the camp rotates, but very easy to get run up on from the west and the east. And Lagerberg and Ronan will actually realize that. And they're going somewhere. They're not going for the compound because Darth Vader is going somewhere else, I think. But I'm not sure what the plan. I'm not sure if they're sure what the plan is either, because they're still trying to like.
Oh no! Flip the buggy. Darth Vader's got to turn around. He's like, all right, I'll come back and get you. I was about to say, please don't go down into that compound. That compound is...
Oh, it's not in zone. Yeah, that would be very, very silly.
Well, I mean, it's barely in zone. It's not going to be in the next one.
Yeah. It'd be much better to camp rotates.
Zodiac coming up on top of the hill. I wonder if they heard these cars take off, and so maybe he's going to try and get a different vantage point. He needs to, because, I mean, the rest of his team, they need to move in further. They can't just sit out on this outside edge. Well, I mean, they could camp out some rotates, but I do think trying to get something with a better vantage point to where they can see their next move and plan accordingly would be better for them.
All right, we got Team Almost. We couldn't see what they are capable of because they got absolutely demolished by, I think it was Bonzo as well as Buikai. He will be driving past Ronan, taking a couple of shots here and there, but some good bob and weave and will prevent him from taking any damage. Some valuable scouting information for his team, as they will be able to wrap around that compound instead, and they will need to do that as they need to go further east. This is a very, very ugly zone. Looking at the center of the zone, a lot of very, very small ridges that you can't really hold yet. So the middle of the zone is almost unplayable right now.
Yep. I mean, it's either get a compound or get high ground. Because you can't play the ridges, everything. Ooh, 4 people in 1 car. Sizzling is just getting some free shots, but he's going to have to get out of here. I'm glad he moved his vehicle in time. He's not going to get his tires popped. Had it been just any longer, I think he would have lost his vehicle.
I mean, Sizzy's such a good player in this team. Great shot, great IQ, yeah. He's a very, very smart player. Like he's always in the right spot at the right time.
It's huge.
He's decided after blowing up their car, the right spot at the right time is just not getting a fight with this team. 2v4, they're already stranded in the zone. They have about a kilometer to run on the far west side. They can even hold the mines on the west side because without a vehicle, they know this team's coming from the west.
They're going to drive ahead of their rotation path and camp it.
I think
that's literally a 200 IQ play. Pop their vehicle, know they have to run in, go and camp it. They've got to run through the open. That's so 4 free kills.
Smart. Looking over here, we have Exodus versus IG Sangel. A bit of a rematch from game 1, although they're kind of just part of the same fight rather than shooting at each other. IG Sangel, in what I would call a better spot, they're able to hold the compound, but a little bit of high ground here is being obtained by Exodus, but it looks like mostly it is rather to the fight, it is to cover Pfeiffer's escape. He will be able to do so with Umke attempting to cover him, but taking a little bit of damage, will be able to back off. But looking over here, it's looking like WinZ is a 4v2 chasing down the retreating Exodus remnants, or the Exodus split rather. Lister and Quick Eye's able to get in their cars and are getting out of dodge just as WinZ crests over this hill. They see one car drive away, but the second one is going to be exposed here. Not able to hit any of their shots. Quick Eyes is, though, and they are able to retreat into this compound here. It's going to be real hard to hit these shots, and they will indeed be able to cross over the hill into the compound. Only player left not in there is Pfeiffer and Umke, but they're close enough that we can consider that sort of like a support position. They're still able to help out if the fight breaks out.
Quick Eyes and Lister left at the perfect timing there. Had they stayed any longer, I think we would have been seeing 2
They might have died right there if they were unlucky.
Yeah, very, very, very true. We do see, I'm not familiar with what this team, GS?
Galactus Array.
Galactus
Esports,
Array?
yeah.
I like the name. I like the name.
I can barely say it.
Rolls right off the tongue.
I oftentimes forget how to say it, and even if I remember how to say it improperly anyway. So I apologize to this team here on the Northeast side. Look over here, a big fight between Bonzo as well as, well, it looks like it used to be PLAYERUNKNOWN'S Esports, as they're just kind of finding themselves unable to adapt to these new settings, losing half their team or more on a rotate that was being camped by a couple of teams, almost trying to get the third party here to snag some kills on a Bonzo, but they will not have any dice, unable to do that, holding the south side almost is. That being said, despite being unable to take any members of Bonzo, they have a very, very clear and easy rotate to the far east through this open field. Open field's very, very hard to rotate to camp rotates.
Uno, the double headshot on Izaka Boars. It does look like they're in the compound, so they are going to be able to get the reses off safely without the threat of push. It looked like the third party was being convinced.
That was like the most Pyrrhic victory ever. It's just like, yeah, I got 2 headshots.
Back to back, can't push it. It's like,
yeah, because it's like
they don't longer have helmets.
It's like the hardest headshot to hit because it's 300 meters away, and it doesn't matter. It's like, it feels so bad. Maybe if you got points for damage, you'd feel a little bit better, but that's not going to be happening. Meanwhile, Helicline Gaming able to get it down to Poseidon. More stuff happening in the kill feed as people are continued forced east. And with about a third of the zone being water here in phase 3, it's going to be real hard. Meanwhile, 20 able to do nothing, rather, as they get demolished by Made in Venezuela, camping the southern rotates. Able to get the res onto Andres will be able to move into the next phase as 3. Center zone here still being slightly contested, as it looks like Galactus Array was actually able to snag center compound right under the noses of IG Sangal.
I wanted to take note of that. This team's rotation has been phenomenal. They've leapfrogged all the way to a dominant position, and now they're gatekeeping out a team. Well, I guess not necessarily gatekeeping, but keeping that team.
I mean, they snagged the compound. That's almost always a good play. Yeah. Maybe not on Miramar, because it's like, compounds aren't as strong as Miramar. High ground's better with there being so few people alive. As I say that, quote unquote, so few people alive. There's still 56 alive 14 minutes into this game. So this is what we were saying before. Like the Erangel dynamic is very much new and updated, because you're sort of allowed to take these head-on 1v1 fights at various stages. You can't do that in Miramar. It's harder to confirm these fights. It's harder to get into favorable spots where you're willing to take the 1v1 squad fight. And there's less situations where if you end up in that fight, that it's not going to get third-partied by someone.
Oh, we do see Team 5 pushing on to Izaka Boars. Jagged trying to get a shot into one of them. He just have the K9 trained right at them, maybe trying to connect. He does have 2 of his teammates further off to the west. It looks like they're getting in their vehicles, going to reposition here. Now that the circle shifted, they definitely have to get in further. Nades out, trying to maybe get it through the window. On the bounce, ooh, just barely.
Oh, that would have been nuts.
Nuts, absolutely nuts. Izaka Boars, I'm not necessarily liking this compound as, oh, the crash coming out, money going down.
Okay, Man Bun in a bit of trouble, as well as Morpheus wrapping around the side. They probably had to get a knock to make that work.
Yep. And leaving just Jagged up on top of this ridge.
I wouldn't be surprised to be seeing him retreat south here.
Yeah, and
shot in the back. IG are actually in the southeast side. They're able to see him around the bush. Uno was seeing a little bit of him peek through there. If they saw his head, he probably would be dead, but they could only see a little bit of his chest, and he's going to be pushed back a little bit. Jagged now forced to retreat. He's got himself a bike ready. Probably going to be going south here, as that is the area that is pretty easy to get through. That's
right
not
into Sizzling.
An elimination, is it? That was weird. I think that mine would have DC'd for some reason. His evasion had to friendly fire him and take his loot, I think.
Sizzling connecting one shot onto Jagged. Jagged down to just 1 HP now. He is going to be able to make it to this compound. I don't think he knows that it's completely clear, but he will be finding that out soon enough. Oh! He flipped.
Is the wheel gone on the bike? Oh, there's a... If he's EU, then something could have happened. Sometimes fences will not break properly and just eject you.
I think he flipped.
How do you flip it? I think it had to do with the fence.
The
fences are wonky. We are an NA server, so it wasn't lag, but the lag can cause it. Look over here, Polar Race. Once again, a different fight happened here between these teams at a different spot, and now they're re-engaging on like the far side of the zone from where it happened before. This happened outside of the mines, and now it's happening again here. Look over here, Littlefoot in a lot of trouble. These cars do not. Oh God, is that a frag? Nope, that's a frag. Darth Vader and Loganberry, as well as Ronan, all working together to take this team out of the game. Polar Ace feeling good about that fight. Now quickly they're able to take it, but their fight is not over yet, as there's Made in Venezuela to their west, as well as Panzerknacker, Firefighter, and the rest of Team Hades to their north. A lot of fights that are going to be breaking out soon, as we're this part of the game. The rule set is encouraging a more aggressive play style, but the players are not taking these fights. They're just not dying. So as we go in here into our fourth phase, it's going to be real hard to take any fights at all without getting third-partied.
Yeah, we're getting to that boiling point to where teams are being forced into each other. There's no longer enough real estate on the map to host this many teams, and so we're seeing teams like Firefighter and Signo go at it and basically just catch people in rotations. I mean, Polar Ace has a free rotation into the east, but they had to kill a team to get there.
That's pretty much the case for every single team, is that if you're rotating in, there's going to be a team in front of you.
Yep.
You're going to need to take a 1v1 fight. That being said, it usually is a 1v1. But if you're the team that's rotating instead of the one that's waiting, it's usually you that is going to get camped and that has the worst spot here. Made in Venezuela, losing a player, able to find a bike, a two-seater, so now that they have 2 players instead of 3, they're able to make this way in. But look at this run here in just the right spot, only landing a couple of shots. Andre functioning as a meat shield for Danny, his driver. He will get shot and actually gets finished from the falling.
Shot midair.
Yeah, Chris breaks all of his bones as he jumps out of the bike. But Danny Coro able to get to a decent spot, although Dash did hear that bike come in and is looking directly at him, investigating where that came in from. You can't commit to this too much, but we'll be able to land a nice body onto Coro. One more will do it, but this is the drawback of these bolt actions. You just can't quite confirm shots on moving and hurt targets. That being said, this team has other things to worry about, as there are players coming in from Vicious Gaming's north that they will need to contend with at some point. I believe that is the remnants of Exodus. It looks like they lost half their team at some point.
Vicious Gaming sitting in a good spot. I mean, they maintain like a solid 10% of the circle, and then they only have a solo off to their south pretty much, and then a duo off to their north. So they really can work either way they want. I guess either way they're going to get third-partied, so they need to rotate and act quickly on one of these teams.
Danny, don't you know that you're about to die? Protege does not like you existing in this game with him, and he's trying to frag him out, but using about 5 or 6 frags and accomplishing literally nothing. That's a lot of resources to use on someone where you're not even 100% sure where they are. Danny will be retreating off further west, Dash leading the way on this flank, and they're going to need to make this happen soon, as they're going to need to cross this road into an incredibly congested hillside. Danny Crow waiting for the inevitable, waiting for this push to come in as the M69 burst fire, I would assume. So at close range, that is going to be very, very, very damaging. Dash, whenever he's jumping in, Danny hears him coming in. He sees him. He's lining up the shot, begins firing, but some awkward, I think that might have been an awkward like movement bug, unable to actually line up his rifle and shoulder it properly, is going to be forced back behind this hill. At least he didn't get flushed right away, but they hear him moving around. They're pushing one from the left, one from the right. Dash able to make the 1v1 happen, saying no one shoots at me, man. Danny Crow getting knocked out of this game. Made in Venezuela getting in the 9th to 16th 0-point range.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Danny. I mean, it didn't really matter what he did there. He had 4 members of VG pushing.
Third headshot onto his Aqua Boars, dude.
They're feeling it.
Oh, but Norkeys pushed across the road. Uno doesn't have any idea. Look at the minimap. Norkeys is right in front of him.
He doesn't
I
have
can
his
see
teams
his
to back
head.
him up.
He has no idea. Uno, you're about to die. But Norkeys playing quietly. But look, there it is. He didn't even see him come up. Able to get that kill, get that flush, saying, you got 3 of our knocks, but I'll tell you how to kill someone. You just run at him and spray him down as Norkeys claims their entryway into the northwest side, because that was Uno's only job. All he had to do was cover the northwest, but he didn't spot Norkeys because he was the only one watching it. So now Rupture, Kai, and Koski, they got to worry about their west now, as the full 4-man of the Aqua Boars comes in into the zone edge, able to find some cover. I'm not liking IG Sangal's spot anymore.
Yeah, no, I mean, they got to deal with the Zaka Boars ASAP, because the second the Zaka Boars sets up on that ridge, their spot's gone now.
This is going to be really hard here for Almost, as well as Evasion down here. Taka trying to go for the res, but if he does get this res, it still is going to be a 2v3 situation with Morrow still being down. Another frag coming in, but Marsalek just can't quite find the placement for these. Still, things are a little bit off to the west, and the kill we see Winsy going down from, once again, who other than Vicious Gaming. That 2-man was not able to sneak in. Morrow getting res. Rest of this team, Bonzo falling back, as they did spot teams that are north. Player One Esports Latin America, who once again just cannot catch a break. They have not been allowed to play their game because their game is old cop PUBG. They can't they're not able to react to new comp settings well, I feel. They're constantly getting third-party, constantly getting hit on their rotates, and they've actually been unable the entire series today to take a full-on head-on squad fight. If they did, they'd be fine, but they just can't find the conditions for it.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, this is a new comp settings, and it just got pushed onto these players,
Whoa.
so they haven't had much time to practice.
Whoa, big push, big push. Galactus Array versus Vicious Gaming, two powerhouse teams here. One from NA, one from EU. The NA team currently on the aggressive side right now. One kill for each of Galactus Array esports. They've all been doing some work right now, but now they got to hold off Vicious Gaming. Well, actually, no, they don't have to hold him off. Look at the zone. They got to push him out. They got to take him out of this game right now. But this great ridgeline, this great little bowl here for Vicious Gaming is going to be a wonderful tool they can use to outpeak this team. They also, with this bowl, are closer to the zone, so that now it is them who are gatekeeping Galactus Array. But look at the minimap. IG Sangel, if they're feeling a little frisky, could go for a huge flank on the 3-minute Vicious Gaming.
Buyukai coming up on the flank, and got Koski and Rupture shortly behind him. They're playing a little slower. Maybe
they're
they're
only
just going to inch their way in. They spot him out.
Buyukai with the 2x-M4, he's like, not able to find that down though. It looks like he wasn't able to find himself a sniper rifle here. Rupture as well going through these sprays, but can't quite find it. This is a range a little too far. One of them landing near Protege, but rolling down the hill, not going to put enough in Protege. And the rest of Vicious getting third party saying, nope. Not a problem anymore. You deal with Galactus Array esports then. And that is not going to be something they're going to deal with. They get one knock, and they're just inheriting their fight in the worst way possible.
Vicious Gaming played this perfectly. They backed off and did exactly what you said and just like let the other team deal with it. And now they
flanked and still outplayed.
Yep.
Like they're so smart. That's so good. That being said, it looks like Galactus Array esports, they're not quite sure where this team is or what the conditions of the flank were, and actually it will not work out for them as IG Sangel does go for the YOLO play, but actually as I said that, they're getting shot in the back. That was not the right way to go for IG Sangel, and they do get a kill in the process. So Vicious Gaming is probably a little bit tilted that they probably feel like that this team just suicided on them, and now they're taking the brunt of the blame here as they do have Protege down and Shrew just crawling for cover.
I don't see how they make it out of this. They got to run downhill. There's no cover, and they have two different teams.
That was just unlucky, man. Like if either of those two teams, IG Sangel or Galactus Array, played it differently, then they were walking away with 3. Yep. But now it's just 2 in the worst spot possible, having to spend a lot of time to get that res off. That's not good. Polar Race here, looking like they're taking the fight against Team Hades in this open field. This is a very, very awkward place to take a fight, but Darth Vader leading the way, trying to win this 1v1 on this ridgeline versus Nims, who is beginning to get third-partied by Bonzo and almost on the far west side. Team Hades in so much trouble they can't take peeks without getting shot in the back right now.
Shrew taking down the Silent Sun, getting a little third-party action in.
They're just waiting. Polaris is just waiting, saying, you just do the work for us.
This team has been picked apart by 3 different teams now. 3
third
parties.
No. Polaris finding the shot, but he's like jiggling, he's wiggling or something that he's doing up there, but he's able to eventually find the knock into Protege, who will be trying to crawl, juke, and jive his way to safety, and oh my god, it worked.
I can't believe he's still alive.
Unbelievable. Oh, the recoil. Oh no. If that was actually a straight line, like,
Shrew's down to 1 shot.
He gets the res. Is he gonna keep spamming? He's still spamming. Oh my god, it's like a line of bullets around him, like those cartoons where it's just like the silhouette of the character in bullets. Somehow, Darth Vader, the unluckiest man in the world.
Darth Vader's gonna go back and look at that and be like, what?
Someone clip that and send it to Darth Vader, because that man is so unlucky. He got cheated out of that kill, man.
Literally cartoon affected him.
Oh my god. Oh, and look at this. It doesn't even matter. It's Galactus Array finishing what they started, taking down one of these plays. Other one left in the smoke. Vicious Gaming will begin to get third partied by Bonzo, actually.
There we go, Darth Vader.
Darth Vader, there you go, buddy. He finds it. Good job, Darth Vader. And now they're going to deal with a couple players coming in from I think that's the east side of the zone. But look over here. Oh, Azako actually is right next to him, who's currently getting third-partied by Sizzy, who gets 2 knocks. If you're looking at the kill vid Galactus, go right now, and they are taking down Briscoe, stealing Ghost Star. Galactic PLAYERUNKNOWN'S esports getting cheated out. He's so mad, but it doesn't matter because at least he does get 6th place. 1 more placement point, but still getting cheated out of 2 of his kills.
That would be frustrating. There, he got one of them.
Okay.
He got Norcus, okay. So and the placement points. So valiant effort from him. I'll give it to him. That was a good play. Izaka Boris caught in an unfortunate spot between the solo and then the 4-man.
Dude, it's like the same team. Well, some of the same teams. We still got Bonzo and Izaka Boris staying alive so well, but the new team here with 11 kills in the endgame is Galactus Array, who have just been getting so many kills and taking these positions of power, it feels like. Getting a lot of kills, taking out players during their rotates, and Ronan will now be added to the list of casualties that this team has incurred. Loganberry and Darth Vapor. Hopefully, Darth Vapor's luck has improved because he's going to need it taking this 4v2.
Yeah, I mean, it's not looking good, especially when you got Rip 9 with 6 kills here, and
they're on fire.
They're on fire. Yeah.
Okay.
I was about to say there's no stopping them, but then Darth Vapor returns with the headshots onto Ballin. There's no smokes to shoot around this time.
Loganberry. Polar Race there, pulling out all the stops, and now they get 2 knocks. Okay, but they do lose a lot of health during that time. Darth Vapor, he's feeling antsy. He wants to do something, but with Loganberry being at low HP, they're not able to find the time to make a push happen. And look, if they don't have any frags either, this is so unfortunate. If Loganberry didn't get hurt or if they had frags, this would be fine. They could easily make that push happen, but they didn't have the utility, and now they're just getting re-peaked, unable to push the reses. I don't even blame them. This is just an unfortunate spot for Polar Ace, man.
Yeah. Polar Ace is in trouble right here. They are going to go for the res onto Darth Vapor, but they got a 4-man pushing, knocking right at their door. Loganberry does get the res off. He does hear them, peeks out, gets down himself, and then Darth Vapor finished off.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, like you said, they needed to capitalize. When they got those 2 knocks, that was their chance. Otherwise, they have to back off and reposition and heal up entirely and can't risk getting knocked because the second they get knocked, that 4-man's just going to steamroll.
It makes sense they didn't push because Loganberry is at 1 shot. Like, you can't push at 1 HP. And it's a 2v2,
and GS was outside a circle. They would have to push uphill, out in the open. There's so many variables to go into not pushing there. But if you're not going to push, you can't get knocked on the return fire. Rip 9, this guy's just on fire. He is the Norcus of this round. 8 kills to himself with 3 people.
Oh, this is so interesting. Bonzo actually has a little ridgeline they're using to get into the zone, but IMCV has this flanked. He is watching this entire trench line. They need to deal with him right now, or they're going to get outflanked this game. There is still a third party potentially from Izaka Boris, but in a 4v3 scenario, Galactus Array, actually no, they realize this is a 3-man. They are dominating 15 kills this game, and they're looking to end it with 3 more. Their name, IMCMB, looking to oh my god, turns on that last player, gets another knock, I think potentially through the smoke. There's 1 player left up, IMCMB, going for the push. He sees Rajku, or Mike you'll see behind the rock. He knows exactly where he is. Rip 9 holding the angle on the right. Find these down players. He's just looking for this last kill. Spots him, gets 1 shot. Only 1 more peek required, but it'll be Rip 9 who's able to take him down. Galactus Array Esports, established in 1905, almost getting just as many kills. 18 kills for them this game. Their mediocre performance in Game 1 will be absolutely overshadowed by this phenomenal performance today. 28 points for Game 2 alone.
Rip 9, 10 kills to himself. He saw Norcus and he's like, you know what? I could do you one better. I could do you one better. Anything you can do, I can do better. So that's an impressive win. I mean, 18 kills, 28 points going their way. I'm not sure what place our previous winners went out in.
It was Bonzo, so second.
Yeah. Okay. This scoreboard is going to be extremely close. Bonzo had
for 2 teams.
Yeah, Bonzo had a couple of kills in their favor that game, but I don't think that they had double digits.
Yeah, I didn't see what it was before we left from the scoreboard. We'll be getting the scores put up shortly. With that being said, we will have our halftime break before we move into our EU segment. That being said, just a quick note: Bonzo EU, Galactus Array EU. So this is just gonna get better for our top 2 teams as we go into our EU half. Don't go anywhere. We'll be seeing what's going on with these new hella sweet comp settings coming back soon. Don't go anywhere. Get some popcorn, get some water. I know I will. Coming back soon for half 2. Welcome back to First Blood Survival Sunday number 42 here at the SSL. If you haven't heard the news, by the way, we are a league now. All of these guys are fighting for both cash today and a slot at the end of the season. But more than that, there's bigger news than that, man. We're going to do comp settings, and oh my God, they're nuts.
Is this not like super exciting? I know you said it feels like it's casting a new game almost. But
yeah.
This is literally this. I can't stop smiling. Like. Playing in it's one thing. Getting to cast it is it's like a whole new joy to me, and I'm absolutely loving these settings. The early game fights, the full team fights, 10 minutes into the game. I mean, it's nonstop.
And these are the leaderboards. Bonzo with a first and a second and 18 kills, able to maintain their lead with 34 points, but a 28-point game is pretty hard to pass over, and Galactus Array will be getting exactly that as they're able to get into second place from that. Izako, excuse me, I've been burping so much all of a sudden. Izako Boris in second. Norky is leading the way in game one with 8 of his own kills, 11 for the entire squad in second place. And Vicious Gaming, our NA NPL qualified team, in fourth there. But look at this, Polaris in fifth, able to duke it out the fourth with 6 kills. After top 3, the leaderboard's pretty open, I feel. Actually after top, yeah, it's top 4.
Top 4.
Oh my God, wait, hold on. This is actually kind of nuts. It's like 34, 29, 26, 21, 10. That's kind of huge, actually.
I mean, it's after 2 games, so realistically, if the first and second place team don't do too hot these next 2 games, like let's say they take an 8th place with 2 kills, that's only 3 points to their name. And then, you know, Polar Ace, Team Almost, any of these 7 to 10 point teams gets a 20+ kill game, boom.
I feel like for some people this is just like depressing. Because like you're looking at the leaderboard, like 2 games passed. Like previously, you'd get like 80 points, 120 points, 1.
But here's the thing: with the new settings, it's easier to come back from that 1. I mean, we saw Galactus
Array.
Galactus Array. We saw them.
Actually, it's not Galactus. It's Galactus Array.
Galactus Array. There we go. 28 points in 1 game. 303 Esports does that this next game. Boom. They're automatically in a second place position.
That's true. I think the big story...
they'd have to have Galactus, or my goodness, the esports team there in second place.
Galactus. They're a pretty big Turkish team, I think. So I do want to get it right for them, for them going into this one. But the big story here, I think, because the teams that are in top right now, Galactus is a bit of a surprise. I don't know too much about them, but they're proven to be they're quite a good team. Bonzo as well, they've been played since week 29, and now they're coming back with a relatively new roster, making huge waves here at Survival Sunday. But also PLAYERUNKNOWN'S Esports Latin America, currently in 9th place with 7 points. Very rare that we see a team with a score total that is less than like the number of their placement, like less than 9 points in 9th place. But they're there right now, and they just can't catch a break. Like every rotate they're on, they just get swamped. Even in the previous game, we saw someone from PLAYERUNKNOWN'S Esports like get to like one of the last zones, and they still only got 6th place.
Yep. I mean, realistically, it's get kills or bust. I mean, look at Bonzo team. They took a 1st and 2nd, so the placement points are there. Very, very consistent for placement points. But they still have 18 points to their name, or 18 kill points to their name, and that's a ton of points. That's more points for their kill points placement than that is for placement points. I think they've gotten 16 points from placements. Yeah, 16 from placements, 18 from kills.
Of all the takeaways I think that you could have from this, I think the biggest one is that anything can happen at any time. Anyone can shift up the leaderboard, especially if we're talking best of 4, best of 5. One good game and you're in there, man. Yeah. That being said, what you really want to hit is top 3 for the money and top 2 for the placement. Because if you get top 2, you get invited through weeks 1 through 7 to the week 8 finale. And every week for weeks 1 through 7, that's only $720 on the line there. Good chunk of change, especially considering that there's no pay-in to get in. But for week 8, $5K is on the line there. So that's a lot of money that you'll be fighting to try and get entry for. And so far, we've gotten a couple of strong teams, also a couple of surprising teams that I wouldn't expect to see them get in here. So I think with a lot of teams realizing that, all right, a lot of money on the line, let's see what we can do. We got Vicious Gaming, we got Bonzo coming back. A lot of teams that are powerhouses in their own regions that we're seeing now.
Is this 5K for the first place team, or is this split overall?
Price pool.
So yeah, I mean that's 5K at the end of the split, so that's That's good money. I mean, especially if you're taking a first or second place, or first places throughout those events. Over a 2-month period, you could rack up a good chunk of change.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people are trying to do here today. Only question is who will be walking away with it as we go into Game 3 of our EU split. Just waiting to get into the last game here. But before we go into that, let's just talk a little more about these new comp settings. So, if you haven't joined us yet, or if you want to talk a little more about it, so the basic idea is that time is removed from the early game, loot is increased so that time loss doesn't really matter, and the scoring system, the kill points are notched up from 4% to 10%.
On steroids.
Yeah, it's on steroids. Yeah. So, and as well, 9th through 16th doesn't get you anything, and placement points in general just matter less. So kills matter more, placement matters less, and the circle is faster and loot is increased to adjust for that. It's essentially a rundown of the new settings, and it changes the game entirely. It's like a different
100%.
game. In fact, I'm a little bit like worried actually, because there's definitely teams that are playing right now that their skills. I think that this is actually something that IG Sangal as well as Team Almost brought up. They just began using these new styles that was about placement points, that was about sort of riding that line and abusing teams that would oftentimes get caught out in that mid-game boiling point. And they'd be one of the teams that still had 4 up at that old comp boiling point, and they'd be able to react and play from that aspect to take out whoever it was that was still up as a 4-man. That's not a strategy anymore. You can't even do that. So whereas a lot of these teams were trying to like finesse their way in and try to be like, okay, well maybe we can just like position ourselves in these kind of like these weird spots that people wouldn't expect us, where it's good enough that we're not going to die, but it's going to be weird enough that no one else would be there. You can't do that anymore. There's no reason to be there anymore, because those spots and a lot of other ones in the mid-game will oftentimes be uncontested because they're not good to be at. Unless you're camping rotates, unless you're taking fights, you're not getting points. You're not accomplishing anything during that game. And we even saw this as well, specifically from Winnie Wins Gaming, that they were trying to bring that old comp style in. They got a 3rd place in Game 1. They got taken out by Polaris relatively early in Game 2, but they're bringing this old style in, and it's just not really working. Like, it can kind of work if you get a 3rd place, but it feels like if you're like putting all the dice on the table to get that 3rd place, and you're not getting enough kill points to back it up, and you can't consistently get that 3rd place, then I feel like you just gotta adapt. You just gotta try something new.
And I mean, especially in a 4-point series, you can't just bank on getting 3rd places. So, because I mean, for example, you take four games, you get 3rd place in each one. It's gonna be 20 points to your name. You get another 5-6 kills, or roughly, like let's say you just don't have it. You don't have the highest kill day. That's 26 points. We saw the team that won last game take more points 28. Than that in one game. And so realistically, like playing for placement points just isn't a thing anymore. You really gotta, if you're gonna play for placement points, you have to shoot for just as many kill points as your placement points.
Yeah, like there'll be some points in time where, like I was mentioning after the end of Game 1, and the idea of Quick Eyes and Man Bun came up, where Man Bun was in the middle of the game, didn't take shots, and then just died for it, nothing to say for it. But then in the next game, later in that game rather, we saw Quick Eyes doing the same thing, but the conditions were different, because Quick Eyes was in a situation where he did not have to. He had already gotten to the top 5, so there was a lot more for him to gain by playing for placement, because at that point in time, the later that he gets in that game, the more points he gets exponentially, and maybe at that point he realizes how hard this zone is to survive in. He knows that this is going to be like one of the worst places for anyone to be in, and he can maybe even win a 1v2. Well, unless you're in that position where you're getting exponentially more placement points, or you're in a spot to win the game, then snaking and playing replacement is almost never worth it. You find a kill, you find 2 kills. If you're like last one up in the mid game, maybe you just take that, man. Yeah. And I think that that's one of the biggest critiques right now of the system, is that there's like, because a lot of that finesse, a lot of that survival aspect isn't really there anymore.
Yeah, I mean So there's trade-offs for sure. I do think these new point systems leaning in the right direction, and it's just better for the viewers, which is what the game needs for the longevity of it, in my opinion, personally. And I think I might just be a little bit biased because I love watching it and I love playing in it. But I mean, either way, we're going to get to see another Aaron Goal fold out here.
And I wouldn't mind to see settings change over time as well.
Yeah,
I love that.
I agree with that 100%. Like, it keeps the game fresh.
Yeah.
Keeps the game fresh.
Map doesn't change unless it's changed what it means to win the game. I like that a lot because then players change the way they play according to that and makes it for a great new show. And it's easy to tell as well. Kill points are valued high, go for kills. Placement points are valued high, all right, go for placement, try to finesse and strategically position your way into the zone. But the flight plan's coming in, and this one, how do you feel about this one? I feel like it's going to be pretty okay to find most spots, considering that places like Georgia are in, the West Coast is in, so it's easy to find a car. But also we have Yasnaya and even like a Rozak, and a lot of players dropping those two spots, and they're not droppable pretty much.
Yeah, I think it's similar to the first plane path that we saw for Erangel, where it favors one side of the map heavily, but it's open enough on locations where each team's probably going to be able to find their own spot without it being contested.
1, 2, 3 teams.
As soon as I say that, looks like we have 2 into Novo. Maybe
one in Novo, one at the crossroads, I'd imagine. That's what I would be calling. Like, look and see which one they're going for and go to the one that they're not trying to grab. Because if you're dropping outside these crossroads, you find yourself some...
They're going Milta. They are floating higher in the air than we can see on the map. I'm assuming they're not going to go for a swim in the ocean. It's a good play for them. They waited till the end of the plane and then just kind of long shooted it over to Milton, knowing that no other team's really going to want to do that.
That's really good strat, dude.
It's not bad.
That was a really good macro, really good call from them to be able to make that call so high up, because you get to plan that like right away, assuming they don't lose anyone in the ocean, which I think they might have actually done with one of their players, which would be a little bit unfortunate. I think on the far south side, Nims might be swimming. I hope not. But if they're able to shoot over here, that's sexy for them. Hopefully they can. Looking at the zone though, kind of similar to game 1 as it goes in favors the west side, favors the flight plan. That's going to be really ugly, man. If there's a zone that goes away from the flight plan, I feel like that's the ugliest that Erangel's going to get.
Yeah, I'd agree for sure. I mean, this is a pretty even zone, and every single team, kind of like we predicted, has their own loot spot, and so it's just going to make for a very, very fun mid-game, because all of these teams are going to be coming in right around the same time for these dominant compounds, and they're all going to be fully kitted.
Dude, Polar Ace is going to be walking away stacked. They got school, they got a couple of these compounds. I think you said Dead Man's compound is what it was called.
Dead Man's Town.
Dead Man's Town. They even got Rozak if they find it. Even Darth Vader finding that ugly green. I hate that skin so much. It's so bad. It's so bad. But yeah, like I mentioned before, cars, loot, they got everything, and they're even in zones. They got a lot of time to grab it up. Hopefully they realize that Rozak was empty. But even if they don't, even if they just loot these surrounding compounds, school, apartments, they're going to walk away stacked.
Yeah. Man Bun, his team, this is...
Where's he at?
Dead Center. This is literally, I think the 3rd game in a row that they have
so
looted
much loot
like Dead Center. Like, they start looting and it's Dead Center of the circle. Now, whether or not it pays off for him in the long run, that's another question. I don't think it has, considering 303 Esports, if I'm not mistaken, is in last.
One point.
Yeah, but, that happens. Sometimes whenever you get these center compounds early, people end up crashing you. You lose one here, you lose one there, and then all of a sudden, before you know it, you're down to 1 or 2 players up, and all of a sudden the game changes quite drastically for you.
Yeah, and that's something I've been noticing as well, is that previously in PUBG Esports, going down to 4-3, we always said that wasn't impactful. That is so different now. Well, I saw so many situations, especially in GAT Cup with Vicious Gaming, where they played completely differently because they only had 3 up. IG Sangal, when they were playing inside the center of the zone, outside the GAT area in the 2 yellows, they had Kai giving rotates. They don't do that with 2 players up. You don't hold center compound with 2 players. That's a death sentence for them. The game's so different. Oh my god. I'm just like thinking of stuff and like noticing so many little things, and already Sizzy, 4 minutes into the game, is going to be crashing center, 2 armor all around, AK and sniper rifle on all of them. This game is it's a fully, completely new, different game that we're watching right now.
Man Bun is getting out of dodge. I wonder if he heard that bike pull up and he's like,
500 meters is a bit.
That's
like 300 actually.
You might have been able to hear it. It's right at that cusp where you're not entirely sure if you got hurt or not, but Man Bun is looking back in that direction, kind of running in the opposite direction, kind of peeking back every once in a while, making sure he's not being chased. I do think it's a good idea that he gets out of that compound and goes and regroups with his team. Not that
He's
their
moving
compound's
away
much
from
better.
center.
Yeah, not that their compound's much better, but the compound that he was in is so hard to hold as a solo. It's hard to hold as a 4-man.
You can actually.
Yeah,
like there's 2 buildings to the north.
Protege driving right up to Earns on the C9
Okay,
hill.
PlayerUnknown's esports, they have gotten camped on their rotates so often, and now they're saying, no, not happening today, not happening again. I will be the camper this time. And Protege from Vicious Gaming, our NPL registered and qualified squad, losing one of their players early on, and that's really rough for them. They're in 4th place, and like we mentioned before, going down from 4 to 3 is hugely impactful.
Yep. Earns is like, I like how this feels. I think I'm going to be the rotate camper from now on. I like this. I like this.
And they even have Harold and Sizzy all at the hill to the west. They are so fast.
I like their positioning. Panda is getting drove up on here by Signo. I wonder if he's going to step outside and play a little aggressive on this Signo. Maybe just
is he going for the crate?
He's just driving by. No, I don't think he's going for the crate.
Okay,
he's just trying to rotate in, but he's going to go too close to Earns coming up. Because, I mean, this is exactly why you camp this hill where Earns is at, is because it's a popular rotate
I mean, that's
path.
not kill distance, though. Like, that's still a really hard shot to hit. And Earns not on the correct side of the hill, didn't react.
Hey, tag him once,
enough.
send him to your teammates.
That's not going to happen. Yeah. That's not going to
But
happen.
look at this, right into Sizzlin'.
Yeah, Sizzy might be, wait, is that how you say the name? Is it actually Sizzlin'?
Sizzlin', I'm guessing. Yeah.
Maybe. I'll just ask him. I'll send him a PM after this. Harold deigning to not take the shots, and that is good that he did that, because look at the map. I don't know where they came from, but Dash is coming up right behind Harold. Pachinki trying to get some revenge on this team. Harold making shots. He's already dead.
Sharu
they know exactly where he is.
So Harold knows that they're up here now. I mean, at least one of them. He heard Sharu shoot. He's going to reposition.
Come on.
This is just like awkward timing. One peeks over the ridge while one's hitting.
You can tell that Dash didn't want that to happen. He knew he was right there. And with Sharu firing, Dash is like, I can't flank him anymore. He's looking at me. It's not a free kill. And so he didn't want to go for that, especially because, once again, they were down to 3.
Exactly
they didn't go for the... Yep. This is so impactful, losing a player early on. My God.
If they have Protege there, I think they make that push all day. I 100% think. I honestly don't know if Sharu should have pulled the trigger there on Signo.
Never.
Yeah, because they heard Harold shooting. They knew he was right over the ridge. Ooh, Zodiac going down
That's
to
their
Tanaka.
star player. Oh no, it's teammate on teammate, but they're playing for different groups right now. Almost grabbing up the sub from Tanaka, and when he wins the game, grabbing up Zodi. Littlefoot trying to get her boo up, but Evasion coming in might be able to confirm this kill. If he actually pulls up in the compound, Tanaka on the north, and look at the minimap right now. Team almost is everywhere. I don't know how they're still alive. They must be barely able to stay alive right now, but even if Zodiac gets res, what's the play here? Find a boat? Like, there's no way out of this.
I mean, Evasion's not going to be able to shoot him here because of the smoke, but I'm not sure. Yeah, they have nowhere. They got the 2-seater. I think that's a 2-seater inside the smoke. I'm pretty sure, right?
Maybe.
It's a 2-seater.
Is it working?
Okay.
Is it de-wheeled? No, it sells its wheels up. Okay.
But the thing is they're going to have to drive right by Yusogo.
Everyone,
yeah, basically. Here we go. They're out. They are both on the bike. Shots raining out. None connecting so far. Bob and weave.
Oh my God, the routing from Zodiac is nuts! Great driving!
I think he flipped.
It doesn't matter. He's under the ridge. They can't see him where they are. Yuso actually getting in his car, trying to chase this duo down. But the beautiful driving from Zodiac, getting around this entire team that literally split just so they could kill him. That was nuts from Zodi.
Good. I mean, great play from Littlefoot too. Dropping the smoke, getting the res, and then immediately getting the first aid off and grabbing the bike and getting out
couple
there.
Goals right there.
That was big. That was great plays. They were able to keep all 4 up, which, as we discussed earlier, very important. Very, very important. Especially if you're about to lose 2 members. Team almost on the rotate now, all 4 into their vehicles. We got Poseidon trying to connect some shots with the M24. See if he misses the one on Mime. He's going to have one more chance on Tanaka, maybe one on Evasion. No, not Evasion.
Not going to happen. Not going to happen. These are pot shots, to say the least. And he's
Come
not
on, Poseidon, prove him wrong.
He's not leading enough right now from what I'm looking at right now. But seriously, Littlefoot and Zoe, that's a relationship goals right there, in my opinion.
This circle is almost the exact same.
Oh, but look at dead center this time. It's Merkham who's able able to get Gatka and the crate. Gangrene, meanwhile, playing like it's old comp, going for a 2-2 split in some compounds previously. They're going to make sure they don't get crashed here. Triple, but it looks like the Groza from the crate going back out for something. Not sure why, but that's going to be dangerous as we do have 2 players from Zako Boars at the crate. What is he exactly trying to get? He's looted already. He's the M4. He may be trying to get some ammo or something, but he did lose half his HP going for that. But oh my god, I think we see a crash going right now. The kill feed is Bonzo going up against Player One Esports in the far south side. Not sure how someone got run over. There's a Rocky Cutie. I think they rotated through him and ended up getting a player like that. We are able to put some shots out. But yeah, look at the meme of Winzy coming up from the south.
There's only 2 players though, and Maro is laying there waiting. He does get some shots on Corey, downing Corey, just leaving Dirty Zin up.
Marsalek.
Ooh, off on the flank, Dirty Zin. Walk TV is off to the southeast though, not being able to provide any cover.
I feel like Dirty Zin should have gotten more from that right there. A little bit awkward that he couldn't get any more damage as the other player flushes his teammate. The nade though, doing some good work. Marsalek going down. Zin holding an angle on Maro, who isn't there anymore, but does allow Walk and Sociopath, I believe Old 303, able to walk into this fight as well. This is a half book, half Old 303, if I'm not mistaken here, trying to make waves today as they're coming in.
Down.
Big potential flank coming in from Walk TV, but they don't even need to flank. They have so many frags. They're just smoking this entire team out with grenades as a Walk TV or Rajku trying to get the res up on Rocky Cutie, his last throwing teammate. But another frag. Has this team even fired a bullet at Bonzo team yet? As the last frag takes out our second place team. But that's our first place team.
That was literally
that was our first place team in 15th place. The leaderboard's open.
That was a player-made red zone right there. They didn't fire a shot. I mean, they did. They shot a little bit off the start, but for the most part, I mean, every single kill there, nades. Yep. I mean, we saw Walk come in with 4 and just make it rain.
Yeah, man.
And that's a satisfying squad wipe. Not even gonna lie.
That's a good spot to claim as well. That forest gives them a lot of maneuverability. They can go west about an entire kilometer safely as far as like an on-foot rotation goes. Not sure the condition of those vehicles after that red zone that they just made, so they're probably not going to be able to use those to move around too much. But great timing for them to win the fight and a great fight to win for them as well. Looking over here at IG Sengal as well, they're in a similar situation as Exodus as well, taking the forest for themselves as IG Sengal taking the compound. And this is so weird because I'm thinking mentally right now that previously IG Sangal's in such a good spot. They have this entire compound. They're in so good of a spot right now. But now I'm liking Exodus' spot more in current settings. They have the entire force move around in. Their camping rotates with this god tower, and they can move around about like a square kilometer in almost any direction. I love this from Exodus.
I was just thinking the exact same thing. It's basically switching it from a hold center compound meta or something central.
And granted, IG isn't center compound, but still.
But still, I mean, I personally would rather have, well, yeah, even with this circle, I would rather have Quick Eye Inference
easy
location over
across the
Azaka
road
Boars.
if you have to.
Yeah, I mean, Azaka Boars, they were in compounds, hard cover, dead center, but the chances of them getting kills, they're going to have to kill rotators or maybe third party a fighter or crash that we're about to see happen onto Gatka.
Oh boy. Okay, last time this team went for. Oh, I was just complimenting your driving there, Zodi. Don't prove me wrong there. Oh no! I think they were actually having a discussion where it's just like, do you want to drive? Okay, no, go for it. But Norky's with what appeared to be like a fully automatic mini, just tearing this team to shreds. That split from Azako Boars was pretty effective, I would say.
That was kind of poor routing and driving from.
Winnie,
what is it? Winnie, yeah, Winnie.
Okay, enough of that though, because it looks like Team Almost is actually making a push onto an occupied compound that's being third party. Galactus Array holding one side, getting 2 downs, 2 flushes right away, and invasion being down from Ballin, who was holding the shed, waiting for the last moment to pull the trigger, and now Mime somehow allowed to drive away in a UAZ. There's a big old box trying to get him to safety, trying to go to the chopsticks, but no, the vehicle makes it in, but the driver does not. That vehicle is going to tell a story later on when people drive by and see that smoking wreck.
I mean, Galactus, they're playing phenomenal. That they held
off their name, Charity. Galactus Array.
Galactus Array. Yeah. Okay. I will get it down, chat. Believe it or not, I will get it down. But they're playing phenomenally. I mean, they held off a crash there. This isn't the easiest. Oh, Mooney connecting some shots onto IMC MV. not going to be able to get the finish. Some smoke's
that was
all ready to play.
Big brain pre-fire right there. Like shot through the window before he even crossed in front of it. That was so smart. But real quick to talk about that play a little bit longer. Whoever was in that shed, I thought it might have been Ballin, but it might have actually been Rip9, who was hiding in that shed, just waiting to pull the trigger on the push. It was in fact Ballin.
Yeah.
Okay.
That
was so good, dude.
High IQ. I mean, when you crash that compound, you see exactly where the UAZ and the buggy are. Usually, that's exactly where people send it. And it's either that or the backside of the
shed.
The shed.
That's where mine went.
And that's And so having ball in there really just threw a kink into that plan.
All right, we got some red on red action. 2 people choosing the exact same hex color codes today, but this time it will be IG Sangao, who is having the numbers advantage going into this fight on the south side. They're currently still trying to find some intel here, figuring out exactly what they're going against, because there's a lot of foliage, a lot of concealment, and a lot of ridges here, so it's hard to gain this information to exactly what you're going up against. You know? Okay, might have gotten caught out here as Abu on the far right side is beginning to take and push out some fire here. But a couple of nice shots from Uno's teammate will potentially open up the way for Uno to take this particular spot. Another frag coming in from Uno. Uno's just watching his team do all this work, man. But he's opened up the way for Uno as well to make this flank happen. And the longer that Uno gets time to make this flank happen, the worse it gets for Made in Vietnam. But a neck shot onto Uno is going to force him down out. And now Koski, though, trying to make this flank happen, just isn't quite able to land these shots quite yet. But Rupture is able to find Abu during that time. So now down to a 3v1. Even if they're not hitting every single shot, this numbers advantage is too much for Made in Vietnam to deal with.
Yeah, especially with how IG Sangala is playing. They're basically wrapping alongside of Andres and they're getting angles on him. Yeah, there's nothing Andres could do here besides back off entirely, because if he tries to hold his angle, Koski from the north is going to take him, Rupture from the south, or Uno from the south. He's in trouble, and he realizes that, and so he's going to go ahead and get out of there. And
he's going to be forced into Team Hades, man. Like, he can stay on this hill and hide, but I feel like that's the next obvious spot for IG Sangala to go. That or wrap to the west, which I might prefer wrapping to the west instead, especially if you're trying to plan of wrapping into the zone, because this south side, that is a hot tomato. Tomato? Yeah, tomato. It's a hot tomato right there.
Hot tomato.
Hot tomato on the far south. Because we got Polar Ace in the compound, we got Winds on the hill outside of it, in their own little building. We even got Team Hades in the southeast.
Pfeiffer and Umke gonna reconnect with Quick Eyes, who is holding this compound by himself. This is so big because this next circle.
How long was he doing that?
I'm not entirely sure. I don't think for all that long, because last time I checked, they were as a 4-man up on the Sniper Tower Hill. Rip9 connecting with some shots onto Umke, bringing down to just 1 HP. Oh, he does get behind hard cover though. But this is big because if this circle shifts off and goes south, that's 4 teams that Quick Eyes and friends are going to have dead shots on. I mean, they have vehicles, so they're going to be able to rotate, but
hard fight here for County 2020 as they begin pushing into, or rather out of chopsticks. A couple of shots from Galactus Array does get it down in a potential opening here for County 2020, but they don't realize exactly what is going on unless they know exactly what team is in here and they recognize his name in the kill feed. They don't have either that information, I would imagine, so they will not be pushing off of that, just simply playing very quietly, very slowly, playing for intel, which they are kind of allowed to do right now, but at the same time, Spen, Pekin, Bruiserton not doing so. County 2020 showing a little bit of waffling around here, kind of trying to figure out exactly what they should do, and until then playing very, very far apart. And once again, it's in new comp settings. I just don't like that strategy. You should go all in for one push, go all in for a strat. Don't play this split. Don't play for placement. It just doesn't work right now. And they're just not quite able to get much done. Like Bruiserton wasting some frags, trying to toss into like a very, very hard, very, very tricky angle. If you get something done, then great, but it's really hard to from this angle.
Yeah, and I think you hit it nail on the head there with Umke getting some shots onto Jagged. This is their chance to push. If they know that this is the team that's in this compound, and they might have heard some of the shots connect, Bruiserton could have at least, but basically you hit the nail on the head. They have to full out aggress here. They've got about a minute left before they're forced to have to push through this team. So they need to be fishing for these knocks and then be ready to engage as soon as they get that knock. And this entire time they haven't been. They're just slow playing it, hoping that this circle kicks back to them. But whenever it inevitably does not, they're going to have to push through this team. And so it'd be better for them to choose when they take that fight rather than having to be forced to.
The only question is that if they do go for that right now, will they get third party or maybe even fourth party by both Exodus and Galactus Array from their southwest and northwest? Every team now does have to leave, so We'll be seeing what play here was correct exactly. At the end of the day, I don't see how this doesn't go in favor of Exodus. We might end up seeing WinZ on the current east side of the current white in purple go for a gatekeep to the north side, although the 3 players up, once again, you don't want to go for those super aggro plays unless you got 4. Once you got 3, that's when you start questioning yourself, playing more conservatively. Now, though, IG Sangal sending it right under Vicious Gaming, who we saw Vicious Gaming the kill feed just now a couple of seconds ago with a great play for them, but now Uno getting spotted out is now having his position getting shelled by Polar Ace. And the longer this push takes to occur, the more time it gives Shuru and Vicious Gaming coming in from the west for a potential threat. We actually don't see the player who's shooting, but he is in fact making pretty big waves. That's going to be Shuru on the mini-map, who has flanked IG Sangal's position and is forcing them inside this building.
Yeah, I mean, Rupture and Uno, they're kind of just proning out.
Yeah, there they are.
Yeah, this is not looking good for them. They're caught between a rock and a hard place. Polar Ace realizes that they're getting third-partied as well, so they're going to kind of aggress on this and gatekeep out Uno. Uno does look as if he's able to make it in the building. He's connected to some shots on Loganberry, downs and finishes him, leaving just 2 members of Polar Ace up. Polar Ace reconnecting the shots onto Koski. Koski is going to be able to make it around the corner and be safe for one more round.
Uno, he's going up, he's potentially trying to get a res, but I mean the kill feed, we do see Shuru getting the kill in the Dark Vapor, bringing Polar Ace down to just 1 player. I think that was just Nuba Cabra who has decided what he's going to do. Uno going for pre-fire while covering his teammate who's going for the res. Smoke being popped as well for good measure. And at this point, Vicious Gaming, they feel like they have done their job. They have had a huge impact on this team fight, even taking Ghost Star with a Car 9, I believe, out of his vehicle.
Yeah, out of his vehicle,
great shot. Izako Boar's now crashing, hard crashing into something on the north side of the zone. I can't quite tell what that is exactly.
It's like a tiny ridge.
Like a little ridge with a rock on top. They're trying to make it work. They're trying to pop smoke and stay alive for as long as they can. And if they can just get this set up, it could be good. But the car got stuck on the guardrail. That really needs to be on the ridge with them, because right now, when that smoke runs out, they're going to be out of luck. And they only have 1 Dacia as cover to protect them against the overwatch from Dash and Shuru from Vicious Gaming.
Yeah, I mean, they really, really need to reposition that Dacia. That can make all the difference in the world from GS, who are pushing in on the northeast, and then especially from VG on your southwest. And so you maybe throw another smoke, reposition the Dacia, because as soon as the smoke dissipates, the Dacia is going to be the only cover you have.
We didn't actually watch it, but if you check the northeast side, we do see the after effects of this, with Galactus Array forced to take the shed, and Exodus on the northeast able to just simply sit in this compound. So it looks like everyone that wasn't in zone, that isn't Galactus Array, didn't have all these vehicles to use, did end up getting eaten alive. So unfortunate end for those 2 teams caught up in that. Rip9, meanwhile, hiding Blitz, trying to stay along as long as they can. Their other player was taken down, and Shuru able to find Rip9 with some long-range mini shots. Rip9 down. Smoke's coming out, but Gladys Wright is essentially out of this game. I don't see how they survive this, with how much pressure they're under. In fact, the big story right now is what is going to happen between Exodus and WinZ, because with WinZ holding this hill, it's going to be really hard for Exodus to push in, but it's still possible. It's a 3v3, so 1 knock from Exodus means that WinZ either needs to decide to continue fighting 2v3 or go for the res and have 1 player watch this. So looking over here, Exodus, though, they have been known, they have proven already in game 1 that they're experts at making a gigantic smoke trail. And in Walk TV and Co, seeing this come out, they actually have a bike going out to scout the way.
Nice shot,
Walk landing 2 shots in the matter of like a half a second. Great from him, but it still will be Exodus able to cross the road with some great smokes and now are on almost equal footing with WinZ.
Honestly, I'd say they're on better footing. They have Sociopath off to the south, so WinZ's kind of spread pretty thin here. They do have the entire east side to themselves. Sociopath is in a really good position to see basically the entire south side. He just barely missed Andres there, who's running below a dip. But for the most part...
And they're all going to a spot they realize how good it is.
Dashed! Another headshot from the K9. Connecting to Quick Eyes. That was a 300-meter shot.
They're playing with a 2-man, but they don't care that they're a 2-man.
It's 4 kills each.
Oh my God, they've been playing the entire game, pretending they're role-playing as a 4-man team, and it's been working. But we're seeing if that continues to happen, though. They actually do take Izako Bor's old spot. That was the only spot that had cover. Good from them to force Izako out, because now that we're at this stage of the game, this spot gets a lot better as far as its defensive capabilities. Harder to get shot in the back here, even if it is because it's at the edge of the zone. Either way, that does mean that Vicious Gaming will continue to survive on the northwest edge.
Yeah, I mean, they're playing a hell of a game right now. I mean, there's still 8 teams alive, so they've got a little bit more work to do. But if they can make it into that top 5, plus, I mean, however many more kills they can rack up, they've already got 8 to their names. This is a phenomenal showing for a 2-man team in Game 3.
We continue to see how they do as we go into Phase 7. It looks like every single team has found themselves a spot that they can hold and call home, and this is a lot. This is like, this 30-second break is like a longer break than we've had in the entirety of the previous Erangel game. So the fact that we're having this, like, I think everyone in the game, us included, are just taking a deep breath. As I say that, it looks like Dash getting flushed from around the flank. Norkeys once again. What angle did Norkeys have there, actually? That's what I'm curious about.
He was in the 2-story, like dead center.
But through the trees?
He was in a single story.
What? I think he was speaking like from that little window.
Yep.
Oh my! How did he flush him so fast over the car?
That's under the car. Dash just barely overextended, and it cost him. Sociopath connecting with Panzer there, eliminating Team Hades in 8th place.
We actually have wins sextupling their points this game, getting 5 kills now, up to 6 at this point. They will now be forced to take a fight against Axis, though, who is aggressing from their north. Zin and Sociopath taking the top of the hill just in time, but don't realize it's happening yet. Hasn't spotted this team yet, but now we'll see that Peaks. He needs to hit his SLR shot, but Pacey looks around. He lays the headshot, and Zin gets one as well. It's a 3v1. Quick Eyes, now the last player alive, wins, showing that they are, in fact, a force to be reckoned with. The nade coming out, but will not be able to take down the crawling, the down player. Looking over here, the Quick Eyes, the last one trying to go for a res, but Walk leading the way on this push. They don't quite know exactly where they are, but it doesn't matter. They take their time, and they're able to make it worth it. 10 kills! 10 kills with 303 Esports making waves in this 3rd game today.
The shots from the SLR, whoever had the SLR Sociopath.
He was just moving.
I know, I was scared. As soon as he went out in the open there, I was like, uh-oh, Sociopath's in trouble. This guy's going to go down right here. And then all of a sudden, he just like pops off a couple SLR shots, connects 2 of them with the head of his enemy.
All right, so I used to play Call of Duty 1, but that game had like the same kind of mechanics of moving around, and I got so good playing the game at hitting shots while I was moving. Sociopath is good at the same thing, man. He's so good at hitting. This is a weird thing to be good at. Moving, scoped in, DMR shots. I didn't know you could be good at that, but apparently he is. Looking over here on the west side, though, it looks like IG Sangal has actually been able to sort of out-position Polar Ace a little bit, taking the majority of the west side of the compound. Polar Ace still marginally closer to center zone. They can still move a little bit further east for free almost, so they could walk into zone, but IG Sangal with a numbers advantage as well as better cover in a decent spot. That being said, I do think that it is, in fact, WinZ that has the best spot in this zone. As they do have the northeast side, they don't have to leave these compounds. Now Izaka Boar is probably going to get pushed by not 1 but 2 teams. If Izaka Boars hold this and they get a ton of kills, great win for them. They can take the points and walk away home, even if they do end up getting 2nd place. But as far as the win, I think that WinZ on the far east side has the better spot.
I think so. Exactly. I mean, they literally they control 70% of the circle. Izaka Boars has that like 30% on the southwest side, but the rest of it's all WinZs. And you have both Polar Ace and then Uno and friends. They're going to have to push through both of these squads no matter which.
Bruxel. So, yeah. WinZ is the team to look at in the next phase, but right now in Phase 8, these teams look at it as, oh my god, IG Sangal going for a gigantic push here. Leading the way is Uno, winning the peak versus Darth Vader, not even giving him time to breathe. They didn't get the opening knock, but they sure as hell got the final game-ending kill. They didn't get the down there, but whoa, Win's going against the Zako Boars. This is so weird. They do get 2 opening knocks here, and only the cost of 1, but I did not see this coming at all. They're going so aggro. They realize the team in the south is busy and are trying to go in. Morpheus on the staircase, though he didn't run up, and are trying to now, but they need to end this right now. Dirty Zen seeing the rifle, he knows exactly where he is, but Walk TV getting 3rd party by IG Sangal, and this is why you didn't want to go for this push, because if that fight lasts for any longer than like 10 seconds, you're dying right away. For the frag, going into the window, he's in the back room. It was in the wrong area. It will be Morpheus able to get the res onto Bruxel, their 3rd player, unable to get down, but Dirty Zen just now starting his res. Sociopath is now going to be getting up with his Groza, walking away, and if you're WinZ, I think you should walk away from this. The threat of IG Sangal, 3rd party from the south, is way too great. Dirty Zen taking a lot of damage from a frag. Sociopath going for a heal on the back wall himself. The new zone does pop. WinZ does have it in their favor, but how are they going to play around this? It's still in 2v2, and as far as cover goes, Izaka Boar is in the better spot.
Yeah, I mean, Izaka Boars, sooner or later, they're going to have to leave. The circle's going to close on, if you look at the minimap, the circle's going to close on that little white dot. And so it's right to the northeast of Sociopath. Izaka Boars, they've got a great position for about another 2 minutes, and then they're going to be forced out. So if Wenzi just holds the angles, Sociopath laying prone there with the Groza, not having to move at all, they're probably going to end up taking a first here or a second. But if Izaka Boars can pick off any of these teams...
They need to outshoot Sangal.
Yep,
they need to outshoot Sangal and then take the 1v1. But Sangal, you'll notice, 7 alive, there are 3 of those. They're the only trio up. But look at this. That didn't last for too long as Koski went for a very bad flank on the right. And Sociopath helping Izaka Boars out a little bit, covering their left. And now a Rupture with 3 kills to his name is just holding here in a very, very cheeky spot on this little ridgeline. The only cover he has is the smoke outside of audible range as well. Once it dissipates, Bruxel might be able to see him, or Rupture could get the kill, but he leaves the smoke. Bruxel spots it, and that is not what I would call cover, Charity, as Bruxel gets that down, forming this now into a 2v2. Izaka, the powerhouse we've seen in the end game, without Norky's note, versus Dirty Zen and Switcherbeth, which are still looking for their breakout game.
Yeah, I mean, this is quite the ending here. They're kind of leaning peeking for peaks.
Oh, Zen, does he hear it? Does he hear it? Just in time, but he does lose the initial fight, forced back into the building. He is now camping the backside. He takes out one player, but hiding in the bathroom is the easiest fight of his life. And look at that, Bruxel from the outside, winning the peak battle versus Sociopath. Izaka Boars getting this. Is this the second win of the night for them?
No. This is not the second.
They got the second place
took a second
in game
place.
1.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. They took a second place. They've been playing phenomenally. I mean, it was an 11-kill game plus the win, 21 points.
Look at Sociopath.
Look at Sociopath.
7 kills. That's my boy.
Tearing it up. Honestly, I thought Sociopath and Dirty Zen were going to come ahead there. Dirty Zen had a really good angle. I'm not sure if he might have been heard going into the building in the first place because it seemed
easily.
Yeah, I was about to say it seemed as if Izaka Boars knew exactly where he was at when he vaulted out. He kind of immediately leaned and peeked and looked right in that doorway.
I mean, yeah, he's making so much noise. Like you can't get that spot without them hearing you.
Yeah, but if Dirty Zen and Sociopath, I mean, that was anyone's game. It was who saw who first, and it just so happened that Izaka Boars capitalized on seeing them first.
Well, the big story was that they were able to kill IG Sangal as easily as they were. Sangal went for a big push instead of going with the people. They tried to make a smoke push, which I'm not sure if I agree with that. I feel like at that point, when you have 3 players up, if you can't all just peek the same angle, like take a 3v1 like that, then it's really hard to lose that fight, at least without making a trade happen. At that point, a trade, when you were a 3v2v2 situation, is pretty good. They might not have had that intel. They were fighting to the south the entire time, and walking up with 3 after killing Polar Ace. They're just like, all right, we know the team is in this compound. They got one Polar Ace, one of their players got knocked from here, but is the entire team in there? Is that all the same person? Because their play makes sense if they're trying to play around a 4-man. They smoke out. They try to get a player to an angle that isn't being covered, and then that one player can make a big play. That's what Rupture. It wasn't Rupture. It was Koski tried to do, but it didn't work at all. He just got punished for it right away. Easiest spray down. I think it was Morpheus's life. Took him out while he was jumping in midair, and then they just got picked to pieces as there's like one guy on the flank, one guy covering, one guy making a smoke cloud on the far side. It was
a little too ambitious.
A little too ambitious, but also it was like ambition as well wasn't needed, which is why I feel like, okay, they probably didn't know it was 3v2v2.
Yeah, and I mean, thinking back on it, they probably should have, because they saw knocks happen in the kill feed between both Izaka and Polar Ace. Or not Polar Ace, but Wenzi. And so that's initially when the push happened. But real quick, we do have the updated scoreboards here. Izaka Boars, as to no surprise, with a 2nd place, a 3rd place, and a 1st place, plus the kills to match. They're in 1st place, 47 points to their name, and they have one more game to go.
26 kills. 26 kills, 26 points for those kills, and 21 from their placement. And honestly, a 1st, 2nd, and 3rd getting only 21 placements, that's less than half their points. But with the old system, that would be like game-winning on its own. Kills aside, in 2nd place, it's going to be Bonzo with a 1st, a 2nd, and a 15th. A lot of kills in every single of those placements, though. So Bonzo's still feeling pretty good.
15th place, but 5 kills. I just want to note that 5 kills. That's a 3rd place for placement points.
Yeah.
3rd place gets you 5 points. 15th place, 5 kills gets you 5 points. Little interesting thing to note. It's definitely different. But that just goes to say that it offers up more play styles, and Bonzo team is taking advantage of that right now. They got the first place with the 12 kills, 22 points to their name. They got a second place with the 6 kills, 12 points. And if you're going to take a 15th place, you might as well get some get 5 points to go with it.
And, this was actually, I was going to say nothing too weird. I was thinking of that, but I'm actually looking at the scoreboard. This was a pretty important game for a lot of teams. We went after game 2 saying, like, all right, there's like 2 teams that can take this. And there's like a 20-point deficit between 4th and 5th, and that's it. That is not at all the case anymore, with Winzy finally getting their breakout game, 17 points in that one alone. Now in 2nd place, a good game could get them into the top 3. Izako Boars definitely confirmed themselves a top 3 spot in my eyes. There would be something insane that happens to them to lose that spot. But besides that, Winzy getting up there, Vicious Gaming, still waiting for their breakout game. That breakout game that they get could easily launch them into 1st or 2nd here. But besides that, it is more of the same besides that looking down here. Polarites, Exodus, Almost, still all kind of waiting for their really good game. But besides that, PLAYERUNKNOWN'S esports, man, they're just not at all digging this new system.
Yeah, I mean, same with Winnie Wins Gaming. They've only gotten 1 kill their name, so this new system is obviously not working out, and they're going to have to go back to the drawing board and kind of revamp it. And for a lot of these teams, this is their first chance at actually getting a taste at this new system.
Yeah.
Unless they had a chance to do it in scrims already, because as far as actual serious competitive play that's not scrims, I'm pretty sure we're one of the first to be doing these new settings, and so this is a new taste for a lot of these people.
I'm wondering how long it's going to take for teams to quote-unquote get used to this, because right now it feels like once you get used to comp play, you sort of figure out what you are and aren't allowed. I'm using a lot of air quotes here. What you are and aren't allowed to do. But it feels like what you are allowed and not allowed to do right now, like what is dictated by the meta as good play, is a lot more vague. And that it's because it's a new system, so we don't know exactly what is good and what is bad. But also, I just feel like there's a greater gray area there.
Yep.
Like with Team Almost, not Team Almost. Team Almost versus Winnie Wins Gaming, that fight from previously. Like we wouldn't normally see like a 4-way split going over Team Almost. They just did what they felt was correct, camping this rotate in whatever way they felt see fit, and they couldn't quite make it work, but they almost did. Meanwhile, we had like that really, really sick play there from Littlefoot and Zodiac, able to barely ski out of there with their bike there. We would almost never see that kind of play happen on either angle in like normal comp play. I feel like we just see something more structured like in general. But right now it's just very, very freeform. What do you feel like is the best way to play the game? And for a lot of people, they're kind of reacting to that pretty well. Just kind of taking a step back from comp and being like, all right, so like what's good to do right now? Rather than just being like, okay, no, the meta says you go for the compound, and like, you push at this point because these teams are doing this and this and this and this. But right now, because you have less information oftentimes on what other teams are doing, it's just like, all right, you just don't care what they're doing anymore. You just kind of do your own thing.
Yep, entirely. I mean, before with the previous comp settings, you maybe see 1-2 teams camping rotates, maybe. I mean,
like the Pachinki team,
maybe
that sends one play up to the hill, and then he just holds it for a while.
Now it's I would say 5-6 teams camping different rotates. At least one person from the team's camping. Like it's not uncommon by any means to see a dirt road camp that's not in blue, or not inside the safe zone. I mean, that is in blue.
Blue Kai was doing that.
Exactly. I mean, we saw it on Miramar quite a few times as well, with teams camping that southeast side. And I can't remember what team it was exactly.
Oh yeah, it was Winnie Wins Gaming trying to camp out Polar Race, but Polar Race came out on top of that. Yeah, so they actually did kind of try to react to that. I'm thinking about that, but they just haven't quite able to make it work.
So it'll be interesting to see. I can't give you a solid answer or even really a guesstimate on how long it's going to take before there's like an established meta.
There might not be.
There might not be. Yeah. But
besides what we've been saying, we're just push.
Yeah, and I'm just excited for the future of PUBG esports. I've always admired the kill points being more than placement points. Don't get me wrong, it is a survival game. So having those placement points is nice, but I just think it's a more fun game if you're not sitting in a building for 35 minutes hoping you get circle. Whereas now it's like, we want to push this team up on the hill. I realize we have a good compound here, but they have a hill.
Yeah, and if we kill
that's
them,
4 points.
That's 4 points, and if we kill them, then they're not going to be a problem for us later when we inevitably have to leave this compound. Previously, you'd probably just see a lot of teams take other positions around that hill, and then that team has to be like, we can't move, we're getting third-partied. But now, with there being less teams stay those kinds of spots, it's just like, all right, well, that hill that you have, you're not going to get third-party as often. You can move around the entire hill kind of at your leisure.
Yep.
So that's a really good spot to be in for quite a long time.
Which it surprised me so much to see Winzy push Izaka Boars there towards the end. They had that entire hill. They had the entire north side, pretty much the entire east side as well. I mean,
that was probably a little too much.
It was ambitious, yeah. And they ended up losing one from it, and then it more or less ended up costing them the game. Whether or not it would have played out in their favor if they kept the hill, who knows? But I do think they had a better chance at winning that, especially because they had zone. So who knows? I think they could have cleaned up the kills on to what team was it that pushed from the south? The third place team.
IG Sangha.
IG Sangha, yeah. If had Winzy stayed on that east side and north side hill, I think they would have ended up getting more kills than just one from IG.
That's a good point. Probably taking them all out maybe at that point.
Yeah.
But at that point, maybe Zako. It's a very different game based on what both IG Sangal and Winzy did. It's very interesting to see that one team obviously going for the new strat, just turn up to 11, which you don't want to go past 10 a lot of the time. Probably went a little too aggro there onto Zako Boars, whereas we saw IG Sangal kind of playing that little older style, trying to avoid the full-on confrontation for as long as they could, but couldn't quite do it. That was it for Game 3, though. Our last and final game will be going on Miramar. We'll be getting that up to you guys as soon as we can. Just waiting for confirmation about when the players will be in server. Should be going up pretty soon for you guys. That being said, with these new settings, I liked Erangel a lot more than Miramar. Miramar kind of looked pretty similar overall.
Yeah, I was going to say, Miramar felt a little more like the old Miramar. Up until the final circle. The final circle was stacked. That was extremely fun to watch.
But it's like
but I think that was more on the circle ending.
Yeah, the terrain doesn't let you play that super aggro style. Like you can't rotate more. So the early game's quite different. I feel like we were just talking about how there's gonna be like a meta, or like a lack of meta rather, that comes into play for Erangel. There's still gonna be meta for Miramar. There's still going to be noting which rotations to camp, which teams are in what spot where. There's going to be a lot of prior knowledge that you're probably going to want to have in comp PUBG going into Miramar games. That's much less applicable going into Erangel. There was still a boiling point that happened, and there was kind of one in the Erangel games, but it was mostly teams just getting themselves into spot and into the spots they got in, and deciding that they get stuck in the boiling point rather than taking a push. Whereas in Miramar, it's just you just can't push here. You're just not able to get out of this. And at some point, there's gonna be a lot of people dying at the same time, kind of like old comp PUBG. With that in mind, I'm kind of beginning to get the idea. Maybe before Miramar was a pretty good comp map, but right now maybe it's just not that good for these settings, and maybe we should be examining that a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, we've only had one game, so
that's true.
That's
true. It's very early, but the seed's in my mind now.
All right, the seed has been planted, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see how far it grows. But enough with that. We are on to the final map, Miramar. Still on the EU servers, so some of these EU teams have a little bit of a leg up, but not too much, because I mean, realistically, ping isn't going to make all that big of a difference. I think positioning, a lot more so. And so let's see which teams can put themselves in the position to frag out. Because this is it. Some of these teams, it's make or break. I mean, you might be at the point.
Top six.
Yeah, as I say, you might be at the point where you just need to hold on your points. Like the first or second place team, you just can't have a bad game here, and you want to keep your points up and get at least worst case scenario get your team that invite to the end of the month.
But if you're Bonzo, if you're Gladys Array, and if you're Vicious Gaming, those are the three teams to look out for. That second, third, and fourth place respectively, to be seeing if they can break into the huge deficit. The 8-point deficit that is between them and first place. It's going to be really, really hard to break that. That's a lot of kills, a lot of points, but if they can hunt down and take out the boys. Oh, who is it again? Oh no. Izako? Izako's in first place. Yeah, Zako's in first place right now. If they can find him, take him out. And that's going to be pretty easy to do. It's going to be pretty easy doing the kill feed too, because some players, like if you're looking at, Mooney, Freestyle, you're just like, what team is that again? Like they don't have like their names in their name tag. But Izako, all their players are just like Izako Morpheus.
Yeah, right.
You know who they are.
There's no mistake.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're going to have to go gunning for these teams because Izako's not a team that just goes down and out on rotation or something. I mean, they took a first, a second, and a third place with, I think it was 26 kills.
On rotate.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, it's basically a team that if you see them fighting and you see an opportunity to third party them and take them out, you take advantage of it. You have to because they're probably not going to lose that fight. These guys are smart. They put themselves in a good position. We do see some Picado action going down early. I think this is our first hot drop of the night. Kind of interesting to see with the new scoring system. San Martin is taking again. I mean, the first Miramar game we watched, San Martin and Picado were both open, and now we're seeing four teams go for this.
Oh man, yeah, so it's going to be really hard to see what happens there. It's not even in zone, so any fight that does happen is going to need to start and end quickly. Sometimes we've seen teams drop Picado, get some cars, and drive away, but that is not what is happening in this game. Quite a few hot drops breaking out, as with this flight plan as well. Once again, a flight plan that is quite nice to the zone. It's going to be relatively close by. A lot of teams are going to be in it for this game, but just got to figure out which one of these hot drops is going to pop off first that we can watch.
Yeah, I mean, Izaka Boers getting some pretty good central loot right off the start of the game, so they're starting their game 4 in a pretty good spot to maintain that first place.
They did this last game too, actually, in the last Miramar game.
I mean, they got Man-Bun kind of splitting between Ghost Star and Norcus, but I don't think he's going to be too much of a threat, especially with Norcus. That guy's he's got a pretty dang good shot. But we do have Vicious Gaming off to the west, another team to watch out for. Polar Ace, pretty much to the southwest, camping an extremely popular rotation choke point. Some action going down in Picado early, some shots coming out from Evasion. I don't think any of them connected, though. And you see, this is a typical split for Picado. You see one team on the north side, one team on the south side. So if it were to be a two-team split in Picado, this is the standard one you see.
Evasion, one of the people that is very unhappy about new loot settings. He's one of the players of the opinion that it quote-unquote codifies the game, and he didn't come here to play COD, he came here to play PUBG. So definitely an accurate, okay opinion to have. But you got to note, you're applying these new settings now, so we'll be seeing how he in fact reacts to them. Almost has been having trouble today. The new style that they've been using recently that worked for them so well, that actually got them a slot into the finale at the end of the season, was in old settings with their new style that is no longer viable. So we'll be seeing how they do today against Team Hades, as it does appear that actually they had to bring in Tex and Toxic, I believe, as another sub this game, as it looks like Mime had to end up leaving. I believe that might have been after game 2. He did get friendly fired for some reason, probably due to connection or attendance problems.
Unfortunate. And I think as the saying goes, you hate to see it.
Yeah, that is the meme.
Yes. We do see Panzer, I think?
Yes, Panzer
getting a wrap onto Team Almost. I'm liking his position, but he only has an ump. And so,
does he have HP left?
Did he get tagged there?
He did.
Wow.
That was
literally
HP.
down to 1 HP. I thought he had a full health bar. So he's right as I was saying that I'm liking his position. He gets tagged down to 1 HP. He's going to have to reposition. I don't know if this position I'd be holding with an ump. Evasion getting some shots off. His teammate is getting a nade out as well. The nade does not connect through the window, so Panzer is going to be able to reposition here. He needs to get out of that building. Evasion has spotted him out. And goes back to reposition, trying to look for the people inside boxing ring.
This just feels awkward as hell. It is Hades. Awkward. These apartments are so good to hold, and now with Tanaka and Evasion holding them, almost impossible to push here. We have Knacker and the Silent Sun as a potential distraction from the west side, but with Nims and Firefight to the north, they haven't pushed out. They're not really using or are really able to take use of the distraction that is being used by Panzer Knackers, because the only way that it is a distraction is if Evasion and Tanaka choose to peek from these balconies.
Yeah.
If they don't, then they can just peek north, and then Knacker and Silent Sun aren't doing anything. And look, you see Evasion running out here in the middle of nowhere. Knacker and Sun can't do anything about it. This wrap from Hades hasn't quite accomplished anything yet, but still, a knock onto anyone from almost how split they are is dangerous. But look at this, Evasion and Yuso going for a push around the east side.
Sneaky. I like it. I don't think they're obviously not expecting it. I wonder if they hear
Sun spotted.
Yeah, well,
Oh no, they didn't. Look at this. Look at the arrows from the scene. They're still at the windows. They have no idea that this is happening. Evasion seeing this player, but doesn't shoot him in the back. Doesn't get the chance to do so quite yet. Looking over here, they will begin retreating west. Team Hades might have heard this team come in and then just saying, all right, I don't know what's going on, but I'm getting out of here.
They left just in time. Evasion had one of them in this line of sight. Ooh, Zaka boards. Oh, the shot's coming out. Firefighter going down and out so quick. Evasion connecting his shots and Tanaka finishing him off with the mini. I mean,
hell, Evasion. If you can hit those shots like that, then why did you shoot him earlier in the Luchador arena if you can hit the shots at that range? Texas Talks is still holding this two-story window. Might be able to peek in the balcony if he jumps in the windowsill, but until he does that, he will be forced to kind of watch probably nothing, like literally nothing Texan Toxic is watching right now. So I want to handle that soon. Silent Sun and Knacker not left yet. They're holding the south side on their own. But oh my god, this kill feed's popping off right now, man.
Zaka Boars and Polar Ace, and there was a third team that, I don't know, Zaka Boars, I'm pretty sure already has 3 kills. Yeah. They killed a team that was already in this compound, it looks as if that was the case. Why, like, Zaka Boars, man, they are just putting up points left and right.
Yeah, we actually have Polar Ace here who is attempting to have a 4-man rotation camp. They are trying to change, and they're doing so in a big, obvious way. Going up here with some baseline loot, so loot for about 1 or 2 minutes, then immediately took a hill next to center zone on a major rotation path. They've got a couple kills from this already, taking some fire as well from these other top teams, and we're looking at strategies that are used by top teams a lot. We have our first and second place team about 200 meters away from each other. So they're doing like the exact same thing here.
These are both 2 solos. Freestyles and Signo, the only 2 solos on the map right now, about to run into each other. Phase 1. I think Signos knows he's in there. He does.
Oh, he certainly does now, but Freestyles might have heard him on this ridge line. Oh my god, gets him down to 1 HP. Signo going for the repeat, going for the frag. Knows the push is coming out, sees the frag. Freestyle, he saw the frag, he said, he has no idea. Go to the peak, takes him out here with a shoulder shot, and Freestyle from 303, winning the 1v1 to claim 15th place. That's an important placement right there, Charity.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Ooh, some shots going out, taking down Loganberry. Polar Ace's 4-man rotate.
Too early, too fat.
Yeah, too early, too fat indeed. They are going to be able to get inside their Murado and get out of there. I think they still have 3 man up. I think they only lost 1. They only lost 1 there. So it's fortunate, but unfortunate all.
I feel like the comms right now from Polar Ace are just like, all right, well, I guess the strategy is to camp rotates then. Like, everyone just camp rotates, and then they're just getting shot in the back. Like, why isn't it working? Well, probably not that part. But I feel like there isn't much like finesse to the strategy, I guess is my point. Like they 4-man sent it to the hilltop, and it's like, all right, just hold this. And then now that it didn't work, they lost a player almost for free. They're kind of hitting each other a little bit here with bumper cars. They're just like, all right, just 4-man sent it away. Like, it didn't work, just do something else. Granted, this is a good spot for them to be in. As we see Tanaka take down Panzer Knacker, who at some point, it's like they lost their player as well, so Picado being owned by a team almost. But from Polar Ace, they're reacting at all, but maybe not optimally to this new system.
Yeah, and I mean, it's going to take some time to get used to.
Oh, God.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, got him. The nade did connect, but it
went into the room that you can't get in. He threw it behind the refrigerator that blockaded the door. I believe that is Kanye 2020 with only 1 player left up alive. Once again, Bruiserton left all alone on his very lonesome. Not quite sure why he wasn't part of that fight to begin with. I feel like this is like a game of absolutes all the time, where it's like either like you can all go for like a similar strategy, 1 player going to the camp that rotates. But especially if you're like in a city situation, I feel like you gotta help with a push if your team's in a fight.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it in the previous game where you kind of just have to really put all your eggs in one basket and push.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes if you leave one as an insurance policy. In the old system, that's okay because that one person could still go get placement points. But with this new system, it's kind of like having that extra person there for the fight is so much more important than keeping one alive so your team doesn't get eliminated in 15th
Granted,
place.
It wasn't close,
the
fight, so he probably would just be dead, but it's the thought that counts, I guess.
Right?
I don't know. We'll see. That's just what we've been seeing so far from the games, what Charity has experienced in ones that he has played. That's just our opinions at the end of the day. Looking over here, this zone actually is shifting quite a bit to the east in terrain that, quite frankly, I don't see often. So definitely going to be a bit awkward to play. A lot of high terrain terrain, like high altitude locations that come into play here. Looking over here, though, Merkham versus Bonzo is appearing to be the next fight to break out here. As Ultra Bummer trying to find a reason to push it, but the third party coming in from the north from Vicious Gaming, Merkham saying, all right, maybe this isn't a good idea. Maybe we hold off on that a little bit here, and we'll just be holding their ground. So they're sharing this high ground, low ground compound with Bonzo team.
It's crazy to see these small compounds being shared, and it's only phase 2. I wonder if these teams, they have to know each other are there.
Oh yeah, I think it was. I think it might have been Ultra or Triple who saw them, wanted to go for a push, was chucking frags at Bonzo team to their southwest, but was called back, I believe, due to the third party potential from Vicious Gaming. So definitely they wanted to be very aggressive, but it didn't actually end up working out for them. Yeah. Looking over here, though, Galactus Array going for a big push. This is one of the teams that is potentially in a spot to claim top 3 positions. That he loses his initial spray as he goes back for a heal, begins to get third-partied from the far west. Realizes what's going on, is backing off now as well. Protege holding this compound, has his entire team in Overwatch right now, but it is essentially a 1v1. I think that is Sharu realizing that, begins to try to go east, but they go west, but they hear the shot to the east as Bonzo makes their push against Merkham. 3 players from Merkham going down here. Roko, Rajku trying to get alive, but oh no, Scrappy getting shot in the back. He gets hurt a little bit, but peeks the angle, sees him, and Bonzo, our second place team, second place team, going out in 14th place. That is going to be huge going into this.
A couple kills.
I don't think it's enough, man.
I don't think it's enough either. But maybe they can hold on to their second place right now. Maybe. They definitely aren't getting first place because Azaka Boars, they already have like 5 kills to their name this game. Azaka Boars is tearing it up once again. But maybe with those extra points, it kind of makes it hopeful that they could maintain their second place and still get an invite to the tournament at the end of the series.
IG Sangal sort of being gifted center compound, so they're just like, all right, well, if we get center compound, there's no reason to turn that away.
Look at this east side.
It's almost completely empty.
It is completely empty.
Yeah, because you would have had to mash F
yeah.
on the plane to get one of these spots on the east side. It is completely IG Sangals, and this is pretty like a new situation for them. They're saying like, how do we play this? Like, do we just play center, right? Like, there's no reason not to, right? Like, why not? So I don't blame them for not playing either. Even despite that, they're playing 2 on the hill, 2 in the compound. Even on the southwest side, there's something big going on with the Boars right now, as it looks as though Sizzy is finally getting revenge onto one of the main rotation campers. Rotation camps, one of the biggest reasons why PlayerUnknown's esports Latin America have been losing so many in the past. Brooksville in a bit of trouble here. Harold across the road, chucking some frags. Sizzy covering the close angle. Frags somehow not taking on Brooksville, but doesn't actually see him leave the smoke. Sizzy doesn't. Might be able to repeat him. The easiest kill in his life. Take one of the Boars down. I believe that will be potentially 2 players. 3. They have 3 players going into this next phase.
Yep. I mean, there was one down. They had almost lost one, but Norcus drove from the north, went and got the res off while we saw Sizzlin killing the 4th teammate. Ghost Star driving super close to Freestyles. I don't know if Freestyle's going to step outside of his shack. I think he is still playing placement points. Yeah.
He's Shack Boy, and he's also those rotation camps. We're walking out that far over that entire ridge line. It's pretty easy to punish that. So even if it's not quite a free kill you take that every time as a solo player. Potential kill that blows your cover on a rotating card that you could get shot from. Probably a little bit too risky for him to want to go for that. But it looks like the west side is just kind of like the place for solos. A lot of remnants of squads make their way. And look over here, a big fight breaking out as X's are caught trying to cross the road. I believe that is 303 to this. Actually, that's not 303. That is Earns Dexter and the rest of PlayerUnknown's esports that are actually punishing this right now. Earns himself was down, but Harold put in a lot of fire. He's smoke in the middle of the road. But wait,
run him over.
Is Sizzy just? Oh, come on, dude! That would have actually been such a good play, though.
Just floor it through the smoke.
Harold covers as he goes for it, but nah, he's not going to be going that. And actually, because he didn't go for it, this fight is going to take even longer.
Panda's going to go down.
Oh, no. Panda, Harold, not doing too much on top of the hill, running in with the zone. It's like once again, PlayerUnknown's esports not going for the 4-man push, instead going for this insurance policy with Harold playing the edge of the blue. Whereas if we just push, if we just help with the peak battle, Lister would probably be dead already.
Harold trying to connect some shots on the Lister. Does get one into him. I'm not sure why he's not running here. Lister's just going to be able to wrap around you, dude. You gotta push in.
He didn't
Maybe he's waiting for his team.
I don't think he saw him leaving. Now he's just in a 1v1. Lister having the high ground ridge as well. Harold might be in trouble here soon. I think you can hear him. Okay, he does have a ridge here on Lister, so it's a pretty good spot for Harold as long as he doesn't get outflanked here. Lister is following the zone in, and this zone's beginning to hurt, man. But look at this. Oh, Lister going a little bit of the high ground. A bit rough in the routing. If he went left around that hill, he would have been fine. But it will be after a very, very, very awkward fight for both teams involved. PLAYERUNKNOWN'S Esports barely able to stay alive here.
Yeah, I mean, hey, they made it in as a 4-man.
That's true. Barely is the wrong word to use.
I'll give it to them. And they got 5 kills to the name. 35 still alive. Okay. So yeah, I'll give it to them. Speaking of which, Sociopath trying to connect some mini shots onto, I'm not sure who.
It's too far to tell, man.
Yeah,
that's IG Sangal, actually. It's the 2 split that is pulling outside their compound. So they're trying to camp these rotates. They're trying to make sure they get as much intel as they can while Uno and Rupture cover the north. But not quite able to do that. The cover here to the north isn't quite that good, but the distance is also quite large. So not ever going to get punished for that too hard as far as the down and then out goes. Looking over here, Vicious Gaming claiming a compound above Galatasaray Esports. Not sure if Galatasaray is going to be able to leave this compound. I see a couple of vehicles outside the walls there, unable to bring them in at some point in time. Hopefully they have some options on the inside. I do see Murado on the south side. So Galatasaray should be able to leave their compound at some point. Vicious Gaming as well, beginning 6 and 5 from other angles. Be forced back a little bit, but right now they're just kind of playing this YOLO aggressive style. They're going to win these peak battles, or if they end up not being able to win them, just try and take them out on a rotate.
Ooh, Karma spotted out. I do believe this is the final member of Winnie.
Goodness,
Dash trying to connect some SKS shots. I mean, Karma's got nowhere to go here. No vehicle. Got to run through the open. There we go. Down. Oh, it is a down, so it's not the final member. There is someone else from Winnie somewhere on the map.
Sure, able to confirm that kill for his team. Not going to get stolen by Galatasaray. Wynn's trying to go for a push, but getting absolutely demolished. One player on the bike down already. Sociopath holding a dip, but is outshot. Headshot from Buyakai. He was just holding that angle. No dodges, no dukes and jives, just sitting there and spray him down. We were talking about Secret Agent Buyakai, but this man is just a wall. He's a tank.
Let's go. Picking up 3 kills to himself. They got circle again. Man, their position is phenomenal this game. They can literally see the entire circle. They know where everyone is. Nubacabra taking out some shots onto Galatasaray. Galatasaray. I was closer there, chat. Closer.
That was they were in like 5th place going into this one, so them getting knocked out so early with the 2 kills they got. Unfortunate. Nubacabra though looking to see if he can get even more kills, going for a push on this compound. Another frag getting a lot of damage. The last one, Nubacabra, this might be it. The last frag goes in. He's made to the shed, waits the detonation, and when it detonates, he'll be going for it. Goes to the peak. Nubacabra, 8 kills to his name. This is their game today here at Game 4 of the FirstBlood Survival Sunday. They're being 6 and 5 from the north side, but claiming the west side, cleaning it up. Their biggest threat now are the remnants, the split rather, of the Zako Boars. There is a 2 split from there to their south directly, but 3v2 when they're in zone of the compound, pretty good odds for them. The only problem is if they wait too long, there will be Vicious Gaming coming from the north, and even with getting knocked here before we get to cover north, he's able to down and flush Darth Vapor as he just decided not to play in the compound and got punished for it almost immediately.
Freestyles! Taking the advantage of being a solo, taking out Morpheus. That's leaving just 2 members of the force. Yeah, I was about to say
they're coming and they're angry. They want to get some revenge for their boys, as well as mostly clear their flank. They're running with Ghostar.
Ghostar's not even looking.
Yeah, Ghostar's mostly gotten down pretty early this game, and now he's proven that he's a good player here, as he now ties with their top fragger Norkies. Going into phase 5. Gonna be cleaning up here, looting both their down enemy and their down friend here. Looking over here, another team once again trying to crash the spot that is held by IG Sangal, but they have so much sightlines, they have so much information that they know exactly how to play every single fight they get in. Taking out one player from Team Almost coming in from Bakado, and now Yuso is on the run for his life. Buyakai tracking him down, seeing him behind the cactus, and oh my god, Yuso is so surprised. Oh my goodness, doing a backflip out of sheer amazement that he went down there. Buyakai getting his 5th kill today. They're the only team in zone right now.
Oh, look at this. Vicious Gaming pushing in on Winnie, the other 3 members of Winnie, and okay, the last member of Merkham. Sharu connecting to the head of Scrappy, taking him down. Merkham eliminated in 7th place. This still leaves a 4v3 with Winnie on the high ground. They have quite the advantage here.
That evens
Shots
it up.
connecting out to VZ, downing him.
Oh, trying to finish that.
Oh!
But, oh, goodness. A frag and a couple of shots from Sharu will take Littlefoot out of this game. Over peeking there, she did, but did end up getting the kill confirmed onto VZ. Bruiserton from Connie at 2020 did. So that was a third party helping them out. And now look at that Bruiserton going down to Zodiac saying, all right, this is too much. Maybe I can take them out from a gatekeeping spot. He sees him coming up the hill, realizing he can't run. He has to stand his ground right now. He takes one down on a huge peak right there, really fast, but getting shot in the back, he realizes he needs to just start running, going for his last stand, gets a second knock, but all he did was just take this team out with him. As it looks like with the zone coming in, Protege might not, no,
he can't.
Will not have time to make these reses happen.
That is unfortunate.
You don't have time. They're going. The next zone's
quick.
DPS is too much.
There it
And
is.
I was pretty critical about this for players earlier on, but this is new zone settings.
Yeah.
They're not sure what they can and can't get away
phase
with.
5. You gotta.
I agree.
I mean, it's okay to
intuitively.
test it. You gotta test it
We're
at some
in
point.
phase. Wait. Phase 5 with 8 alive.
Yep. Bloodshed. Absolute bloodshed. Especially with this
Squint.
zone. This is just like third partying everywhere.
Squint. I'm squinting at this, and the only team left alive, and I say team literally, is Sangal. They're the only team with more than 3 alive. Everyone else is either a solo or a duo. And look, this Bruiser's getting spotted out here, making his way from cover to cover, but Sangal, man, this was the easiest game of their lives. They sat here with cover, but they also played it very well, man.
We saw Polar Ace take down Izaka Bors, I do believe, in a 6th place or a 7th place position, 6th place. And so
I think that was
Bors,
more than everyone else, though.
Yeah, well, yeah, Izaka Bors got a couple placement points plus, I think, 5 or 6 kill points, maybe even more.
It's like 8, 9 points this game.
They racked themselves up a good amount of points in this final game, which is exactly what they needed to do. They didn't need to go lights out. They just needed to secure themselves a little bit more of a leeway. And I think they might have just done it, but
yeah, I think they did as well. All these other teams, none of them besides Vicious Gaming have had explosive games yet. With Vicious Gaming, the Northwest Edge here, very little to work with as a solo player. IG Sangal realizing the strength of their position, playing out very far. We will see Koski here spot out the boys on Polar Ace, sneaking this out quite soon here. 8x SLR, he has all the tools he needs to deal with this, potentially even on his own. He spots right behind the tree, tries to go for these quick peeks. Oh, but will get turned on. Ronan landing a sexy headshot on Koski. He does have backup going for the res here, but is Nubacabra close enough for a push? No frag, sadly, to confirm this. It's going to be really, really impactful. But Rupture and Co. holding the Northern Compound, trusting that Buyakai and IG Sangal can win this 2v2. That being said, they just sent Uno over, so Polar Race need to go right now. This needs to happen like right now for them.
Yeah, this, I mean, they can't allow Uno and Rupture to regroup with these other two, and so Buyakai is going to get on an off flank. This is really good play from Buyakai. It's going to stop basically any type of flank that Nubacabra or Ronan would go for, and that's exactly what they would be going for. Buyakai is going to peek up right around this corner.
Trying to out-peek him. They actually make it happen once again. They do it again with Koski peeking up top. Ronan just kind of like holding up like a turtle and saying, "Don't touch me, I'm going to bite you." And they actually do lash out back at him and make this work out. Meanwhile, Uno taking on Perugé, Vicious Gaming going out in 3rd place. They realize it's the last one players up. Ronan, those looked on point. Yeah. But the M4 is kicking a little bit too much in Polar Race. They did pretty well. If there were more teams left alive in that zone, that would have looked a lot better. But with how IG Sangal was able to play, they're just sitting on top of the hill without getting shot at a third party at all. Yeah. It was just almost impossible for Polar Race to win. But a stellar showing for them regardless. 2nd place with 11 kills.
Yeah.
Not bad at all.
Nubacabra. 8 kills.
Nubacabra.
Yeah, he showed up big there. That was impressive. I don't think it's going to be big enough, unfortunately.
Is Sangal's big enough, though? Because I got 22 points.
Yeah, Sangal, that was a big game from them. I mean, Nubacabra and Polar Ace, they ended up getting, I think that was a 15-point game? No, 17-point game. 17-point game.
8 plus, I think 2nd place is 8.
No, 2nd place is 6. So 11, yeah.
That's huge.
I know, it's quite the spread. But 11 points from kills and then 6 points. So yeah, 17 points for the 2nd place team. Don't think it's going to be enough. but we'll see. These scoreboards are going to be pretty close.
It's going to be very, very telling, I think, at the very end. There's about 5 or 6 teams I can think about, and it's the reason why neither of us really know exactly what's going on is because a lot of our top teams got taken out pretty early. Vicious Gaming, they did end up getting themselves a third place for themselves. I think that's
plus a decent amount of kills.
Decent number of kills, and they were going into this with about 4th or 5th place. So the question is that did they get 3rd place? Maybe they get 2nd place. But between them, a lot of the other top teams got taken out relatively early. Izako Boars as well with about 8 or 9 points obtained this game. Should land them in the mid-50s. So that will be the score to beat for today from Izako Boars, I believe. I don't think anyone really did it that game. I think the other players in the top 6 ended up getting themselves out pretty early. So the end game that we saw this game was very different from the end game we saw in the other games.
I don't know if I've ever seen 8 people alive in Phase 5.
Like that was like the games are supposed to go on for like 36 minutes. We're supposed to be ending the stream around like 3:15. It's 2:44, and we're already about to call it quits because the game ended that much earlier.
Hey, I mean, running like a smooth and just fluid oiled machine. It's perfect. I messed up on that saying, however you say it. All right.
The smooth, fluid machine, quote Charity.
There we go, yeah.
I like my machines fluid and made of water.
Smooth. It's more smooth than fluid. It's a smooth, fluid machine.
It'd be weird if there was like a fluid machine.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I'm only talking about like exactly a water mill. Like I don't think I like my machines
enough
fluid.
Picking on me, okay? It's my first time back in at least like 3 weeks. I'm not good at math, but I'm pretty sure it's been 3 weeks.
In improv, you're supposed to say yes, and I'm just like no, that's stupid, Jared. What are you talking about? We're just ruining your confidence. But look at that.
And there we are.
It's not close. In first place,
it was
though. Vicious Gaming and Sangal tying for 3rd.
And they were only 1 kill away from 2nd and getting themselves an invite. 1 kill away. Okay, so the question is, what if we would have had 3 teams with 43 points? That we were so close to having that. They would have all tied for 2nd. Do they all get invites? Do we go off placement points? Do we go off kill points? This is new to us, everyone.
Oh boy, well at least we didn't need to figure it out this week, but I'll be making rules for that going forward. Because the Bonzo team getting 2nd place with 1 extra point, they will be not only claiming the $200 prize, but also bigger than that, an invite into the 5K tournament at the end of the season on their first week back. Joined as well, they are joined by Izako Boars getting $400 split between their players, as well as first place.
Shout out to Izako Boars, man. Consistency was key today with those guys. On top of all the kill points they secured, they had a 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and a 6th place. Plus, I mean, they had 6 kills at the end there, so it was like 32 kills or something like that.
I don't know
did really well.
What they've been doing since we've seen them about 2 or 3 months ago. But they are on fire. They've been practicing, and they've been practicing their team fights. They've been practicing potentially with the new system. But maybe if there was a system that teams went for like 3 or 4 months ago, where a couple of guys were just find the strongest fraggers you can and just mush them together into a team and see what happens. And Envious did that, and we're going to be seeing teams that were made with that in mind that are going to be playing pretty well going into the future of comp PUBG.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that's going to be it for us from today. Congratulations to Izako Boars as well as IG Sangal for getting into the season finale as well as getting 1st and 2nd place. We hope to see you guys next week. But until then, it's been us at FirstBlood. Do you have any closing remarks there, Charity?
I mean, it's a pleasure to be back. I just want to say
back,
that much. But if you want to join us here and play in these Survival Sundays, hop on over to our Discord, join us on our app, message us on Discord, message us on Twitter, get a hold of us somehow. We have all the necessary information for you because these events, they are so much fun to cast.
Twitter handles are
even more fun to play
here.
in. Yeah, and so if you do want to compete, especially with the now that we're a league, there's more money on the line, more games to be played, more comp settings to be explored.
I believe that we are the only, I'm not sure about EU, but I think we're the only NA league that is using these settings right now that's running. So
there you go.
If you want to practice in a competitive environment and maybe win a good chunk of cash while you're on it, and go ahead and stop by the FirstBlood Royale app and try to qualify in these Survival Sunday qualifiers. Anyway, that's been it from us today. Make sure you tune in Tuesday when we talk about our comp settings. I'm glad that I did this event for us today because I have a very different opinion going in before this event than I did after the event. And we'll be breaking it down Tuesday. And if you don't stop by for that, we'll be seeing you next Sunday for the 4th week of Survival Sunday League Season 1. See you guys then. Until then, stay safe and have a nice night.